Hold up, grab my soda, cause I told you I'm colder than hell. I ain't buying what you sell, it don't ring my bell. Unless it's got the smell, you know, like grape ape. We ain't talking vapes or the color of drapes. Or a gorilla in a cape is the good shit. Just one hit, you so lit, you fall into a bit, non-bit. What's fucking funny is you're a monkey, a high school flunky, hero and junkie, obliteration of the carnation with gross castration, skewed citations by your intimation. Get real, young man, there's only one stand. You can't stand a suntan, how you gonna live on the land? Obliteration of the carnation with gross castration in skewed citations by your intimations. I'm a truth in rotation, you're a cheap imitation. Dark said hums, 808s make the ground shake. Cold as the grave, every word's a land quake. You're a flicker in a cipher, I'm the flame that won't fade. Step into the night where the shadows are made. What's fucking funny is you're a monkey, a high school flunky, hero and junkie. I'm gonna click another hit of this good shit, and I'm already it, so take over, it's been non-bit.
Thank you for joining us at Personality Inventory Mockumentary Production. Man up, slaves, and hit those buttons, or I'll send ice.
And greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. I want to remind everybody, hit them like, share, and subscribe buttons. There is a PayPal link to help a brother out. All is appreciated. We're going to be doing some reviewing of videos today. You like my legal aspects and commentary on the law and its corruption. And that's what we're going to do today. And so the first one I want to pull up is a short. Oops, wrong one.
I'm going to jail.
And this one here, we have somebody that knows what's going on, and he's going to let them know it. Man tells cop exactly what they needed to know or to hear.
I'm going to jail. You're going to kidnap me? What crime did I commit? Right now? Failure to identify. What is the crime?
Failure to identify is not a crime in and of itself. They have to have a requirement of a reasonable, articulable suspicion that a crime has been, will be, or is in the commission of being made now. And none of those factors are there, so he cannot then demand identity.
Crime I committed.
In any form.
You were involved in an accident.
Watch as this man gave these.
And an accident is not a criminal action. So listen to what this man has to say, because he's absolutely correct. If a man is bound by his words, then why is it that the state has to step in and say, no, you have to do it this way?
Cops a reality check and told them what they needed to hear.
Why are you shaking, man? Are you nervous? No. You're shaking. That makes me kind of nervous, man. You're over there with all these guns, and you're the one shaking. You see him shaking? Do you need medical attention? What I want right now is for you to identify.
So we have to think about this stuff again. If there was no crime committed, then why is he demanding identification? He's trying to step in as an insurance claimant of some sort. He has no right to make a claim. He can only take the information And that's if he's asked to. If this man and the other one he got in an accident with are taking care of it on their own, they have the right to do so. It's called private contracting. Okay?
That's what you want. That's nice. You can want anything you want. You ain't gonna get it.
The trans
I made a deal with ends up. Sir, I will charge you with assault and kidnapping. Well,
Absolutely, because again, they have no right to interfere with commerce, which is, in fact, a private contract that this man and the guy he got in an accident with made a contract to take care of it on their own without third-party officious intermeddlers intervening in what is not any of their business.
you guys are going to release me and stop wasting my time, or I'm going to charge you for my time. Are you guys
Charge you for my time, as well as the kidnapping. That's the criminal offense here, folks. See, they come in thinking they have all this authority to intervene in private contracting, and they don't.
running your extortion racket because I've worked out with that man that I will compensate any and all damages, but I have nothing to do with you two clowns, and I don't need no third-party interlopers interfering into my affairs.
Exactly. Don't need third-party interlopers interacting and interrupting your affairs that you've already bound your word to with another man. See, that's a covenant between you yourself and another man, and whatever inspired you to do so. Greetings, Cynthia.
I have no problem compensating damages of anything I've done wrong. I do have a problem with road pirates sitting here trying to extort me and waste my time. No, you think only government can solve problems. Your daddy didn't teach you right. He didn't teach you that another man can go talk to another man and solve his problems. You don't need government intervention. I'm going.
You don't need government intervention. And that's what we're talking about. You can go to your fellow man and work it out. That's the process that we really need to work on. Okay, working things out amongst ourselves without having to depend upon a government and its court system and all these RICO habits. RICO habits. Because that's technically what they're doing. And like this man mentioned here, that would technically be kidnapping. Kidnapping one of the children of the brethren of Israel and making merchandise out of him. They're involving him in a contract of their own that they have no business being in to intervene with a private contract. The next one. The reason I pulled you over and their delusional lies and how they try to impress them into a record. Dr. D-Head says that's the first time I've seen any of them propose they would charge for the time lost in false detention. Absolutely, that's what we need to do. They're interfering with our private contract and demanding that we contract with them. Then I'm going to charge you for my time. I have a right to do so. And greetings, Twig Boils.
For speeding.
I wasn't speeding.
You were.
How fast?
Back on Bridgeport, you're going about 70.
Back on Bridgeport, you were going about 70. Well, that already brings into question, well, what do you mean about 70? You know that ain't going to about work in court, do you?
No, I was doing 50.
Because I was going 60 and you were
No, I was doing 50 because I was going 60 and you were flying by me.
getting away from me.
You weren't behind me.
I was.
Really?
Yep.
You have that on camera on the dash cam?
No dash cam.
No dash
No dash cam. Let's see if he has radar.
cam.
Nope.
So it's just your word against mine.
Yep.
Oh, yep. He said that pretty confidently, too.
All right.
Watch how gracefully this cop accepted his defeat the moment some straightforward common sense entered the conversation.
Like, you have to be behind the person.
I was behind you.
I mean, I was looking in my rearview mirror. You weren't behind me at all.
I was in the number 1 lane, you were in the number 2 lane.
And how many cars back?
About 2.
So
There we go again. Oh, about 2. See, you can't start making such stringent facts out of things that are about. It's pretty ambiguous.
you were behind another car behind me.
I wasn't behind you.
Right.
Directly.
So you're in an opposite lane.
I was in the closer lane to the double yellow. And then I see you driving away from me while I'm going 60.
You were looking down doing 60?
Yep.
So you were
Yep. He says it's a 50 zone. He's doing 60, claiming this guy's doing 70, and he's looking down at his dash.
Looking down, but you weren't looking up at me. Or you were looking down and looking at me at the same time.
Kind of impossible, isn't it? You can't be looking in two places at the same time, can you, officer? Now, are you sure that was a speed of about 60? Or excuse me, about 70? See, it's about breaking their mentality. They're really fucking stupid when they try to lie.
All right. What did I say? I was going to give you a ticket?
And then, of course, at the end, but did I say I was going to give you a ticket? No, but you sure tried to finagle it that way. That's your job. You don't go randomly pulling people over and having this argument with them until they defeat your logic and say, well, did I say I was going to give you a ticket? That's the whole intent of pulling people over. Now, the next one I got, and real quick here, I remind you, everybody, this is a fund drive to help a guy out. Please hit that PayPal link to help a brother get rid of these commercials and pull up the StreamYard so I can do panels. I know a lot of the stuff I do here on this channel is not so much panel stuff, but I've got the the Heckle Bus Rides channel, and it's doing the Short Bus Podcast TV where we will be doing panels. And I'd like to have a full panel of 9-10 people. So that's what we're looking at, trying to get pulled up again. It has expired, and I just need to resubscribe. In the meantime, let's get back to it. This here is Cop Talk Live. So go ahead and go over and check him out. Cop Talk Live puts out a lot of great information. He's a officer of the law himself, retired, and reviewing police videos himself. And I like his perspective because it's more along my lines. It's the people that have to start standing up. It's the people that have to start seeing this for what it is and start doing something about it. And they have to do it conjunctively together. These one at a time things don't really help a lot. Let's check him out.
I got a legitimate question for you police officers out on this one. And this video is going to be a glaring thing that you need to pay attention to because, to be honest, it's going to get real bad for you guys. I saw this on Instagram, the Real Fit Fam El Paso video from this week captured from moments that the officers of the EPPD attempted to serve a warrant in central El Paso. The arrestee, 28-year-old female with autism spectrum disorder, was unaware of the warrant. None of those things matter. None of those things matter. If I'm going to defend use of force, it doesn't matter if the person has autism, whether or not the police know that at the time.
So what we're talking about here is a matter of discernment again. Okay. And what I'm going to say is, even if you have somebody that is mentally competent, full capacity, the circumstances in which this went down in a small environment, an enclosed space, and the way they manhandled this woman, a little bitty woman, and what it took to get her in cuffs, this is just fucking ridiculous. So it doesn't matter the mental capacity. This is the physicality again. Their abusive authority and not discerning the situation that they're in. It's called situational awareness. And they're not concerned with situational awareness. They're concerned with, at the end of the day, that no matter what situation it is, that they're on top and they cannot let anybody else get away with anything, even if it's hurting their feelers.
Autistic person still throw a punch, slash a knife, pull a trigger on a pistol. All those things can happen. Doesn't matter if the subject didn't know they didn't have a warrant. None of those matter. And I understand that when you look at this body camera footage, we want to look back and say, well, the cops should have known this. They should have done that. Sadly, if we're going to correct some of the egregious police use of force that we see, we also at the same time have to acknowledge, well, there are certain components of it that the public needs to be made aware of on their end. Like, hey, that cop just body.
Yeah, as we sit here and watch these videos and everybody agrees that that's what should have happened, how many are actually doing something about that? That's been my whole thing, is I'm going to do something about it. And I go to city council meetings wearing the short mustache. And when I have interactions with the police, they go very well now because I'm very succinct and powerful with what I say. I stick to nothing but the facts of the matter, nothing else. I do not allow emotions to get into it.
Slam that person in the hood of the squad car. that person had a bad back. Well, that's irrelevant because the person was resisting at the time. There's certain things that we need to both keep a check on both sides if we're going to be fair about this. It stemmed from an earlier fight with an acquaintance. The stress and sensory overload of the situation led to the female having a meltdown, resulting in chaotic arrest by the officers. None of that matters. None of that matters. I respect it. It doesn't matter. I've seen this. This is ugly. This is use of force, but this also poses a serious, serious question for law enforcement that you guys need to pay attention to and be made aware of. Let's watch this.
And notice, like I said, they've got her confined on the side of a bed that there's there's hardly any room to walk, and she's down in the corner. One man is already above her, and now another man comes in and donut holds the guy in front of him just to get in there close enough to overpower this little woman. The fuck is this nonsense? Already, that's what I'm talking about. Why does it take such force? If she's willing to stand there, then why do you have to succumb her into this little tiny corner? It's pathetic. Wait till you see how many are actually involved.
Chelsea, you have a weapon arrest.
You can't just break into my home. You can't just break into my home. You can't just break into my home and arrest me.
Why are you grabbing her like that?
What are you doing?
You know, why is he beating her up? Why is he beating her up? Does he know this girl? Why is he beating her up?
You're on top of me. And from record this.
I'm
You're
recording.
literally on top of me.
I am
Look
recording.
at them.
Hey, here, Gallardo.
Why is he beating her up? Why are you letting her beat him up? Beat her
Why
up.
are you hitting
No,
me?
get this one.
They tased me 3 times.
I know.
And they're literally holding me hostage.
I know.
They're literally pinning me down. This mother is literally.
Yes, I would agree. See, on that point alone, nothing else matters. Do they have a right to do so? No. What they have is a contract somewhere. These people are corporate officers, nothing more.
Chelsea, stop.
My arm.
Put your hands.
You're gonna break her arm, dude.
Why don't you ask me what to do?
What is your name? I'll
Give me
get
your
your
hands.
badge.
Give me your hands.
I want your badge numbers.
Give me your
Give
hands.
me your badge number.
Give me your hands.
Give me your badge number.
Give me your hands. Give me your hands.
His hand balled up in a fist.
Numbers.
Give me your
Give
hands.
me your badge number.
Give me your hands.
Give me your badge number.
Give me your hands. Give me your hands.
Give me your badge number.
Give me your hands.
How many of you people out there are good with that? How many people out there are good with that? What if that was your mother, your grandmother, your daughter, your sister? Huh, guys? How many of you men out there are good with that? Are we not supposed to be in our nature serving and protecting women and children? Where the fuck do these people think they get the authority to do this?
We got that. We got that. Punch her in the face. Punch her in the face. Call 911.
And see, in that kind of situation there, Dr. Dickhead, I don't know if I could handle it. If I was standing there and that they did something like that, I'm the kind of guy, I'd probably kick him in his fucking head. Excuse my language, excuse my aggressive manner there, but that's my nature.
Now, call 911. We're calling 911.
Get on this side.
No, you did not have to hit her. You did not have to hit her.
We're calling 911 now on you.
Call it 604.
Calling 911 isn't what's going to do it. See, people, we have to be preemptive, and that preemption is that knowledge and speaking out and doing things about it. Even when we're the ones being treated like this, there's a better way to behave. We too can behave better. But again, how do you know if somebody's autistic and that behavioral issue is something they cannot avoid? So why escalate it? Unless that's what you want the public to see.
Okay, here comes. Call their supervisor. We already did. Tell them they're literally punching me. They're punching. Tell them they're literally trying to stop. They're punching. You're beating the shit out of me. Why is he hitting her? Make her stop, man.
Okay, there's two more. There's two more. Cameraman had to move out of the way, and there's two more entered into that little tiny room. Now, this is where I'm thinking, well, what about the bystanders? I've seen this happen several times. Okay, now a bystander is in the way, and that's obstruction because he's trying to capture video, and there is no case law on situations like this. Again, situational awareness. There is no case law where you're already filming. You're part of the interaction. What can they do about you filming for your own protection in the situation as a participant or involved relatively? There's 5. Okay, see, there you go. Situational awareness. Like I said, there comes in the woman. Get out, get out, get out. Excuse me? Why are you coming in such force other than to expel me from my own fucking habit?
He's been punching her over and over again. No, I'm recording this because he beat her up.
Get out. No, I'm recording this. Exactly right. And this is a woman, gentlemen. Learn how to stand the fuck up. That's what we need. Situational awareness and knowing how to do what you need to do.
He tased her 3 times and he punched her in the face.
She can't breathe.
She can breathe.
She can't breathe. You got her stuffed in her pillows.
See how they're pushing her head down? He's got his knee on her back. He's got his knee right up there by her arm so she can't wiggle her arm around. She's got a hold of her feet. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to breathe either. How ridiculous does this stuff have to get? How many times do you have to see this shit in open public forums, on the news?
You can't breathe. You can't breathe. Get off of me. Being a crap out of her. You're the supervisor. Get the fuck off of me. Why are you talking?
Now, I can only imagine that somehow the way that door slammed open, that it came back and got her or something. Or maybe they used her head to ram through it. I don't know. But that's the way it seems to be going.
We don't need all this.
Look at this.
Get back. No, this is my home. And she.
How many officers are there? He's going to tell you here shortly. You're going to be astounded.
He just beat up my daughter in front of me. She was coming up peacefully.
Look at this.
Are you over the age of 50?
I am, and I don't really give a fuck what you got to say. Please hit that PayPal link and help a brother out.
And she has autism. Okay. And she has autism. All right, we got the medical records to prove it.
All right, ma'am.
Supervisor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we want all the badge numbers.
Okay, first of all, let's just calm down so I can figure out what's going on, okay?
He came in and beat up my daughter when I was bringing her out to him.
Okay, well, what happened, though? Because the officers were here for a reason.
I was bringing her out to him, and he came in. See, again, this goes to that curtilage and compliance. If mom already is bringing her out, why did he feel the need to break that barrier and go in? He didn't have the right to do so.
Right?
No, they lied. And they said that a transit called and complained that there was noise. We had just come from Albertsons.
Okay.
They just got home. We just got home.
Okay, and then what happened?
And then he lied.
They're getting their equipment,
okay?
We need to go back in the house.
Okay.
I don't want you in my house. I did not welcome any of you in my house.
There's some prongs somewhere. There's one right here.
Where are the cats?
There's two.
What are you doing?
Where are you picking up the prong?
Where are you taking her? What do I need to do to get my daughter?
1 second. You want to talk outside? What do you want to talk into?
You want to talk outside? No, I want to talk in my own fucking home. I didn't want to be outside to begin with. You keep wanting to take me outside. Why?
I'm in my house. I have my cats here. You all are.
I'm just
She just moved in.
Really, you're a hot guy.
I wonder why you're arresting my daughter. And why didn't you just tell me?
She has a warrant for arrest. I don't know. I'm not, but she has a warrant for arrest.
And all this for that?
Really? So, ma'am, what's your first name?
Veronica.
If she just listened for her hands behind her back, it would have been simple.
No, he didn't. He was beating her up.
But did she listen?
He was beating her up. Yeah, but did she listen? So you're admitting that he beat her up. Listen, cops, police, pigs, cunts. That's not your job. Even in lawful detainment and arrest, you're supposed to have a certain etiquette in making those arrests, particularly when you're dealing with people with mental disabilities and autism and stuff, and you don't use any of it. Again, people, they have a job. At the end of the day, it's to go home to their wife and children, the very things that they have that nature to protect. And yet that's the only ones they will protect. They will not do it in their nature and protect all women and children. In fact, those are the ones they're most likely going to take advantage of because they're the ones that you can take advantage of easier. The men, they make real criminals out of them.
No, she's autistic. You hit her in the face.
Did you call the cops?
We called the cops too because he was beating her up. Yes, we did. To get some backup, just so you can see what was happening because that was unnecessary. I don't know, and it's him. It wasn't the other officer. He was trying to stop him. He was beating her up. Yeah. What's his name? I want to know that officer's name. That one right there. Tavera.
ID 3814.
Okay.
And he says that with pride. See, all this going on, and everybody knows he punched that woman in the face, and he says it with pride and a smirk on his face. That's like the army guys that pose somebody as playing the national anthem as a prop and refuse to stand up for it and sit there and smirk at them. How pathetic. You people have an ultimate responsibility and you fail it entirely.
All right. Hey, it's going to be on the report.
ID 3104.
31.
And your report,
3814.
not my report. 3814.
3814. Get it right. We good here? Yeah, we should be good. Let's go. Who picked up this light right here? There was a light. Me. That was mine. All right.
Two.
That was good.
For one little girl, wow. 1384 Tavera.
Yeah, one little girl. Look at them all. That's a lot of fucking people, right? For a noise complaint, folks. A damn noise complaint. Let alone the fact that they weren't even home. They had just gotten home. So it couldn't have been about them.
So I have a legitimate question. All right, here is my legitimate question. And this is going out to you good cops out there, the guys who actually do the job and you train, right? Because we know how it is. You're the 1%er who actually keeps yourselves fit. Out of your own personal dime, you go to whatever training classes that you're out there for defensive tactics. You go to the range, you do all this. And you know that when you come to the department, you're mocked and you're made fun of. Oh, there's Tackleberry. There's Rambo. Hey, company man, whose ass are you trying to kiss? It doesn't matter. You know the majority of your coworkers, when you want to go ahead and implement a fitness policy for your department, they're going to resist you. They're going to get the union, and the union's going to go, no, can't do it. You know it. This is my question, because I don't know how else.
So what he's saying there, in case you don't know how to read between the lines, is most of these police departments don't have a physical training program to keep them fit and healthy for the job.
Solve this. Use of force is ugly. It does not look good. You could train 100,000 times for one technique. There's always going to be a variable that makes it look bad in the public's eyes. This woman was actively resisting. I would love it if people just comply. Take any type of impairment and have two grown men on top of you and see how well you're able to comply. See if.
And it takes training to comply. That is not the natural. Okay. So inherently in man's nature, we do not comply when somebody applies physical force on us. That is our nature, to fight or flight. That's in the nature of every creature. You cannot deny it. That alone is the basis of my moral foundation. No man has authority to put their hands on me. I haven't done anything to you. Keep your hands off of me. Again, particularly when it comes to a fucking noise complaint.
If your body will allow you to stop the fight or flight mechanism that's built into you in your lizard brain for survival. See if you could do that, right? Now, my question ultimately for law enforcement is this. We keep putting unqualified men and women through the academy on the street. I keep hearing that the academies are pushing people through untrained, qualified men and women through the. Ultimately for law enforcement is this. We keep putting unqualified men and women through the academy on the street. Ultimately for law enforcement is this. We keep putting unqualified men and women through the academy on the street. Ultimately for law enforcement is this. We keep putting unqualified men and women through the academy on the street. This
is well known and needs to continue to be on repeat. Repeat so much that becomes the mindset. And of course, that's not where it stops. In that mindset, it should motivate you, again, the ones that are truly responsible, to take up the knowledge so you can help enforce that law, particularly when these idiots are trying to enforce their feelings and emotions and egos and presumed and assumed authorities that they do not have.
Hearing that the academies are pushing people through untrained, that FTO programs are putting people through untrained, all of this. These two men were clowns. They had no skills whatsoever. But we know objectively reasonableness is going to back them up. We know qualified immunity is going to protect them. We know policy she was resisting. We keep putting people on the street who are worse at their job, who are escalating force, meaning these cops are not trained. They refuse to train. They're physically inferior. They are using more force on citizens and they're being covered. Who are worse at their job, people on the street. We keep putting people on the street who are worse at their job, who are escalating force, meaning these cops are not trained. They refuse to train. They're physically inferior. They are using more force on citizens and they're being covered. We keep putting people on the street who are worse at their job, who are escalating force, meaning these cops are not trained. They refuse to train. They're physically inferior. They are using more force on citizens and they're being covered.
They're being covered. This is why I say you got all kinds of people that are willing to sign on and back them up when they make these ridiculous charges and try to explain away with ridiculous bullshit their own actions that are absolutely outrageous and violence and criminal.
They're not being held accountable. So we keep shifting that sliding scale, right? Of more force because we're putting bad cops on the street. I know I'm long-winded. Here's my point. If you're an American police officer and you're that 1%, what happens the day dad walks through the door and he sees this? Husband walks through the door and he sees this.
And that was my question earlier. If you're standing there and you see them do that to your daughter, your sister, your mother, your grandmother, what are you going to do? You're going to put that camera down and kick that motherfucker in his head? What are you going to do? We have to stop being subservient at some point just because of their bullshit authority backed by their physicality. And I'm not saying to get physical. I'm asking, what are we going to do? And again, I'm posing that we start educating ourselves to preemptively prevent this kind of stuff.
Boyfriend, brother,
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives.
And I am Keith, and I am hoping that people will help a brother out by hitting that PayPal link, get the StreamYard back up and running, and let's get back to it.
You think that that man who walks in and sees you doing this to their loved one who's a female is going to say, sweetie, calm down, relax, go limp, put your hands behind your back? Or do you think we're now going to have 2 dead cops in that living room? I think we're going to have 2 dead cops in that living room. And when it comes time for that, I want to know from those who back the blue, those who support the police, those who also support the Constitution, whose side are we supposed to be on? If we keep letting cops get away with these subpar hiring practices, if we keep saying standards are not a thing, or do you think we're now going to have 2 dead cops in that living room? I think we're going to have 2 dead cops in that living room. Or do you think we're now going to have 2 dead cops in that living room? I think we're going to have 2 dead cops in that living room. And when it comes time for that, I want to know from those who back the blue, those who support the police, those who also support the Constitution, whose side are we supposed to be on? If we keep letting cops get away with these subpar hiring practices.
Exactly. And that's why I said earlier, I'm one of those guys that he's talking about. You might end up with 2 dead cops. If I walk in and see you doing that to my daughter, my sister, my mother, my grandmother, I have the nature in me as a protector and provider to do everything in my ability to stop it. I have a hard time going against that nature.
If we keep saying standards are not a thing, we keep firing fat cops, female cops, weak male cops, and they're the only ones with the lawful protection and the guns and the ability to use force, at what point do American citizens continue to stand back and be beaten, abused, and shot and killed? Make no mistake, I am not calling for violence against police. I am calling for the awareness that if you refuse to train as a cop, if you don't take this job seriously, if you continue to abuse American citizens because you failed to do your job, do not be surprised when patriotic Americans do step up and start putting an end to your behavior that you refused to take care of in the first place through training, which was a part of your job. Patriotic Americans surprised when patriotic America failed to do your job. Do not be surprised when patriotic Americans do step up and start putting an end to your behavior that you refused to take care of in the first place through training, which was a part of your job. Surprised when patriotic Americans do step up and start putting an end to your behavior that you refused to take care of in the first place through training, which was a part of your job. To the 1%.
And I think that patriotism is going to be more of a spiritual patriotism where mankind, men, finally start coming together in that spiritual strength and putting their foot down and saying, no, we will no longer allow this. I think that's where it's going to come from. And that's what's going to instill that physical nature to make sure they stop it. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm like this guy. I think one day it's going to come to the point where you're going to end up with 2 dead cops.
Are out there of law enforcement who actually does this to do the job, to train, to keep yourselves fit, to keep those standards up, who are receiving resistance from within your department, get a hold of me. If I can help, I will make the biggest noise possible. I will attack your agency and do whatever is necessary to make sure that people like this don't put you in a position to have to use more force on a citizen, wind yourself up in a federal lawsuit. This was completely unnecessary use of force. How many?
This was completely unnecessary use of force. Completely unnecessary, you said. And he's a whistleblower. Like I said, he used to be an officer. He's retired now, and he's helping other officers be more vocal, which is absolutely needed. But I'm urging the people to be more vocal, like my dog. I gotta go let my dog out, so I'm gonna let this play a few. I'll be right back.
How many officers did we see on scene ultimately? 20? 20 outside? Because 2 couldn't do the job? The American police deserve no respect at all, provided they refuse to train, provided they don't take themselves seriously, provided they are so comfortable with the fact that they think qualified immunity, policy, and objectively reasonable standards are always going to be there to cover their ass. We need to make a massive change. What we just witnessed on one end of the spectrum could be articulated as use of force, and only because it's the standard of where we have it right now in America. Two grown men couldn't take a small little woman into custody, so they had to escalate their use of force because they were fucking pussies, who is what it was. It can't be the standard. It can't be custody, so they had to escalate their use of force because they were fucking pussies. So they had to escalate their use of force because they were fucking pussies, who is what it was. It can't be the standard. It can't be.
I agree. Totally. Live free or die. Cages are for cowards. It's really great to see that dynamic illuminated in regards to the misguided nature of the average police officer. The poor dumb bastards are being misguided by their PMC tyrannical masters. Yes, and this is why I speak of Hitler's willing executioners. They're willing to do what their boss tells them, and that's where it comes from. We have to learn how to start holding those people that are signing off for these people accountable. That's only going to come from the people that are putting these people in offices and agencies where they can do it.
The standard. We have to hold that standard much higher and make a change in America right now, because what I saw was not use of force, but it was domestic terrorism brought on by two failed men who should not be on the street whatsoever. They were fucking pussies, who is what it was. It can't be the standard. It can't be the standard. We have to hold that standard much higher and make a change in America right now, because what I saw was not use of force, but it was domestic terrorism brought on by two failed men who should the force, but it was domestic, and make a change in America right now, because what I saw was not use of force, but it was domestic terrorism brought on by two failed men who should not be on the street whatsoever. America right now, because what I saw was not use of force, but it was domestic terrorism brought on by two failed men who should not be on the street whatsoever. And we call it law enforcement. We call it law enforcement. That was not use of force. That was two.
So he just equated domestic terrorism with law enforcement. That's coming from a retired police officer that was outed from his job as a whistleblower. Amazing how this stuff comes out.
Scared men who abused a citizen because they couldn't do the job. And there needs to be some police accountability for that one. So again, my ultimate question for you cops out there is, what's it going to take?
That's what we're actually talking about, New Guru. The standard the talker fails to acknowledge is the self-governing standard. There is where the standard is most weak. So my curiosity is, how long was this guy an officer of the law before he became a whistleblower? I mean, how many times did he fail to self-govern his own standards within the police department? How many times did he watch other officers commit the same kinds of crimes and not do anything about it? Was it continuous until maybe something like this happened to maybe his mother, maybe his daughter, or his wife? Is that what triggered him to be a whistleblower? It makes me wonder, because a lot of people hold these relationships as a standard for their moral subjectivity. And I think when it comes to the moral standard, it should be held objectively, as if though it applies to all. And that's the problem. Even though it's a subjective moral standard, most people don't hold their own moral standards objectively to everybody.
For you to train, because pretty damn soon American citizens who are far better trained than you are not going to put up with this shit any longer. Something to think about.
Absolutely.
Blue Chew Gold.
Absolutely. There are many people that are well trained in the physical aspects of life. There are many people that are well trained in the projectile implements that are used. All kinds of different military tactics and police style tactics, MMA, all kinds of martial arts tactics. I can't imagine how long it's going to be before people like that stand up. But that's certainly what we need. And in that, I include myself. I'm not a martial arts expert or anything for sure. That's far from the case. But again, in my physicality, I will do everything I physically can, even if I lose. So let's take a look at this one. Sergeant gets caught in his own lie. Case dismissed. This was from Trial Cam Network. This is just something I found. I do not have a subscription to this one, but Trial Cam Network. Sergeant gets caught in his own lie. Case dismissed.
Pointed at him. You pull over. You pull over. Could have did a number of things. He had his lights on for all of what? 25 seconds? Your sirens are not activated, nor your lights activated, correct? No, we're not up to the vehicle yet. Okay.
We're in Lansing, Michigan for a preliminary examination. On March 13th, 2025, Michigan State Police Sergeant Scott Williams was working a search warrant operation near Wall Street when surveillance flagged that a suspect was leaving the area. Officers had a name and a photo, Markeel Winfrey, and they moved to intercept. What followed led to a felony charge of fleeing and eluding in the 3rd degree. In Michigan, a preliminary examination puts the full burden on the prosecution to establish probable cause, and the state had one witness and a dash cam to do it. What the prosecution didn't account for was the defense attorney who had watched that same footage frame by frame and walked into that courtroom with a very
Part of the problem, too, the active civic participation has been under attack by conspiring institutions, public and private, since World War II. This is not only the public education system, but the fact that that public education system doesn't teach Americans about civics. Yet immigrants have to pass a civics test in order to become Americans or United States citizens. Amazing how that works.
specific set of questions.
And 3 and 2-1645.
That's why I keep putting it on the people and their education. You people have to wake up and start educating yourself on how this stuff works so you can help move it in that way that it's supposed to work, because it's not working the way it's meant to under the letter of the law or the spirit of the law. It's operating under emotions of the officers and those that are willing to co-sign after them for a goddamn dollar.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury. You can have a seat. State your first and last name and syllable.
And what was your reason for dispatching to that address?
So we were at briefing with Lansing's SOS narcotics team. They advised that they were doing a search warrant on Lakewood Street. And while we were doing a search warrant, they advised the surveillance that that subject might have been getting into a vehicle and leaving soon, so we started moving that way. And then prior to us and S.W.A.P, which is Lansing's SWAT team, getting to the residence, they said there was a suspect vehicle.
While you were in pursuit of that suspect, what happened next?
So I was not driving, I was in the vehicle as a passenger. They said the vehicle was coming down Wall Street up to Holmes. We were told the vehicle was coming down Wall, so we pulled up to the intersection of Walsh and Holmes Street where we observed the vehicle. There was a black pickup at the stop sign, and behind the black pickup was our suspect vehicle, which is the blue Chevy Malibu. We turned off of Holmes, we're facing northbound. We turned eastbound onto Walsh, and then spun behind the vehicle to initiate tracks.
So you said that you saw Mr. Winfrey in the driver's seat of that Chevy. What did you do next?
So I was in the passenger seat.
And who was driving? Okay.
We pulled up, kind of like we weren't able to totally get around the vehicle, kind of like to the side of it, activating emergency lights. At this point, I think the black pickup that was in front of probably saw our lights, so the black pickup didn't move either. And at this point, the Chevy Malibu then went off the curb and went around the black pickup and it fled.
So,
morning, Trooper. Morning, sir. It's Sergeant. Okay, Sergeant.
What he just testified to was that when he turned around, he saw the car pull around the truck, going up on the curb and onto the sidewalk to get around the pole and everything. Now, there's two pieces of contention that are going to come up. One is going to be a stop sign picture showing nobody at the intersection after he turned around. And another one is something that they don't even mention in this trial, which is the fact that the edge of the yard on the interior side of the sidewalk had been built up by a concrete curb itself. And so it was questioned as to whether the car drove up onto that concrete curb next to the yard. And it was stated yes. And then in the another photo, it shows no curb. So let's pay attention to that.
So you weren't at the location when this individual left, correct? Correct. Okay. And you stated you received information from surveillance? Yeah, yes. It would be fair to say that surveillance would be in unmarked cars, correct? Yes. Okay. And then you allegedly
intersected with this car or saw this car at what point in time?
When it came up to the stop sign behind the black pickup at Wall Street.
Okay. You weren't given a license plate, were you, of this vehicle?
I don't recall the word. I don't know.
Okay, but had you been given one, you would be able to say, yes, I was giving this particular pertinent information. You would agree to that,
I mean,
right?
that would be part of it, yeah.
Okay. And you said, what kind of car is this?
Chevy No.
That's a very common car, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you allegedly saw this Secretary of State photo at the briefing?
Yes.
Do you know when this photograph was taken that you were seeing?
No.
You don't?
Let me say on this image, but.
Okay, but did you put that in a report or anything like that?
No.
So you don't know if it's an outdated photograph?
No.
Okay, you don't know if individuals. Now, you were equipped with body cam, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to review your body cam?
I did not review my body cam. No, my body cam really wouldn't be important because it's facing down here. We're all in the vehicle, so we weren't in-car video.
Okay, glad you said that. Now, when you first came to, I guess, the street, you had to make a U-turn, right?
We did, yes.
Okay. And when you made the U-turn, whoever was this vehicle wasn't in your visual, correct?
I guess how you
when you made this U-turn.
So what he's saying is when he came up to the stop sign and he saw the truck sitting at the stop sign, there was a car behind him on the behind the truck, and he was coming up cross section to the stop sign. So he turned right and went past the truck and the car and then did a U-turn.
You couldn't see this particular car at that time, right?
No, we could. So when we went south on, want to make sure I got my streets right here. South on Holmes, they advised where the car was coming down Walsh.
Okay.
We spun back northbound, and as we were approaching the intersection, making a eastbound shot on the Walsh, that car was right there, so we could see the car. Okay. And we could see the driver's seat.
Now, Trooper, if you were, Sergeant, I'm sorry. If you were able to see the video, you would recognize the video from the. Now, Sergeant, does this appear to be an accurate depiction of the incident on which you are testifying today?
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to talk about these numbers and stuff here a little bit. You'll notice there's auxiliary, bookmark, crash, siren 0, mic 0, brakes 1, light 0. So there's no lights or siren. And he's putting on his brakes because he's getting ready to turn.
So I'm going to play the video at 0 seconds. And Officer Harshman, Trooper Harshman, that's your partner?
Yes, he was driving the vehicle.
Okay.
Did the video come with did it come with that writing on it?
That's why I was.
Yes, it came with the writing on there, which is great. Actually, the writing is
Yeah, it's like recording
very
and
helpful.
stuff.
And okay, I'll play 14 seconds, I'm sorry.
14 seconds.
Sergeant, you would agree that you had to complete a U-turn, correct?
Yeah. So that was when we turned down the street. We were given the information where that we had to turn around. Yeah. So it looks like just off of home, that's right there.
Okay. And you would agree at this point in time, your sirens are not activated, nor your lights activated, correct?
No, we're not up to the vehicle yet.
Okay.
So there's 2 U-turns in question here. The first U-turn when he got the call saying the car was here, so he turned around. That's the first U-turn he just made.
At 44 seconds.
Now he saw the car behind the truck at that intersection and turned right, and now he's making the second U-turn. Okay.
And Sergeant, you would agree that you had to complete another U-turn?
Yeah, because we were facing, I guess, eastbound, he was facing westbound, so when he fled, we had
okay,
U-turn.
Without using the term fled, you would agree that at this point in time, you never came over your PA and said, hey, individual in whatever car, stop. You would agree to that, right?
Yeah, we never.
Okay. You'd agree that your sirens never came on where you hit your sirens to indicate to anybody in the vicinity that you may want them to pull over, correct?
So I'm not driving, so I didn't hit the sirens. I wouldn't be one of the ones that hit it anyways. At this point, no.
Okay, do you agree that watching this video, the sirens variable remained at 0, correct? Okay, and you didn't yell out the window and say, hey, stop, did you? Okay. Continue at 48 seconds. And I'm gonna pause at 58 seconds. You would agree that at this point in time, your lights are at 0, correct? Your lights are off, correct?
Correct.
Okay. No sirens are on, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So this is it.
So he turned them on when he made the second U-turn. And then when he pulled up to the stop sign and turned the corner, he turned them off again.
I'm sorry, 0:58 seconds, you said?
Yes, Judge.
No lights on?
Yes. No lights or sirens. And I'm gonna pause it at 1:16. And you would agree at 1:16, no lights are on, no sirens are on, correct?
Yeah, at this point, I'd have the trooper terminate because we did not pursue that.
Oh, okay. So at this point in time, the pursuit was terminated, correct?
Correct.
The pursuit is terminated. Okay, understand that. Pursuit is terminated. And the charge here is fleeing and eluding.
But at this point in time, you would agree that this was terminated, correct?
Correct. From this point.
Okay. And previously to this point, you would agree that when you first got on the street, you had to do a U-turn, correct?
Yep.
When you made that U-turn, you agree that no lights were on, correct? Correct.
The first U-turn?
Yes, the first U-turn.
Yes, correct.
And you would agree that no sirens were on, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then
So what he's establishing here is no identification and no proper notification. They had a picture, but he couldn't testify as to that's the guy. Didn't know if he had a license plate, never checked it. Just a Nova, and they're quite common. And he said they went up over the curb. We're going to see some of that information here in a little bit, and we're going to find that kind of be false too.
then when you made the second U-turn, after you completed that U-turn, you would agree that no sirens were on or lights, correct?
When you terminated, yes.
Okay. And you would agree that you never hit the sirens. It's the variable remained zero, correct?
It is, yes.
You agree that you didn't yell out the window, correct?
Correct.
So no mic, no siren. He didn't yell out the window. The only thing he had was lights, and they were on for maybe 15 seconds.
You'd agree that you
And then the pursuit was terminated.
made no indication verbally to whoever was in the vicinity that you wanted them to stop. You'd agree with that, right? Honestly.
Other than the lights, no verbal, no.
Okay. But you'd agree that when you completed the U-turn, there were no lights on, correct? Just to be clear.
I guess you're talking about two different U-turns.
Okay, we'll go back.
You're talking like right when I initiated the stop?
The second U-turn. I'm going back to.
You're talking about two different U-turns. You already testified that you did not have your lights on during the first U-turn. So it doesn't matter. You already know which U-turn he's talking about. This is the idiocy. Okay? Answer the damn question.
37 seconds. So this is the second U-turn, correct? You'd agree, right?
Correct. This is when the stop was being exited.
Okay, this is when the stop. Okay. And you would agree at this point in time, nobody's in front of you, right? There's no car in front of you, right?
So the suspect vehicle's right to the left, like tire right there.
Okay. And then no sirens are being activated, correct?
The suspect vehicle is right there to the left, tight. In other words, it's right there. There ain't much room between him and that suspect vehicle. Okay? That's what he's saying.
Based on the zero.
Okay. You just saw the video, correct? You would agree that when that U-turn was completed, the lights variable went to zero, correct? We'll go back, just to be clear. I don't want you to say anything that's not true.
I just need to explain, I guess. What
No, I'm just asking you. I don't be rude or anything, but I'm just asking you a simple question. Whether or not after your U-turn was completed, isn't it true that the lights were turned off?
So as the U-turn was completed there, when he pulled up to the stop sign, lights were on, yes.
Okay, thank you, Sergeant. Thank you, Sergeant. No further questions.
Sergeant, you were just asked about the lights in relation to the U-turn that was being made. When the lights were on, you had mentioned that you were right, the car was right to the left and the tire was right there. How close do you recall the suspect car being to the patrol vehicle at the time the lights were initiated?
Oh, 5 to 10 feet, very close.
5 to 10 feet, very close. Pay attention here, folks, because this is where you know he's lying. The video will show.
Okay. And when those lights were activated, what did the suspect car do at that moment?
Pulled off the side of the roadway to the north, went up on the sidewalk around to the north, went up on the
sidewalk. Okay, this is the intersection they're talking about. They're saying there's a white curb up here running along this side of the yard. And you'll see video here shortly.
Sidewalk around telephone pole and fled into the west.
So in that image where we had the stop sign, were they actually going up that curb to the right? Okay, so your lights were activated and that vehicle then jumped the curb. Correct.
Okay, this is the truck at the stop sign. This is the house. This is the black car. That's that house.
Lights were activated and that vehicle then jumped the curb. Correct.
Okay, you see here's that house on the corner. There's no big tree in this front yard. There's a white concrete curb going along the edge of the yard, both the front here and towards this backside here. Here's the trampoline at the neighbor's yard. Okay. So there's the trampoline at the neighbor's car. There's the house on the corner. There's the black Nova. They say it's a Nova. That sign there looks like it's a Hyundai. I might be wrong.
And Sergeant, you had said that, or well, you were asked about the
Okay, so here's supposedly that house again. Here's that tree. Where did they get this footage from?
lights being turned off and the timing of that. You mentioned stopping engagement with the suspect vehicle. Do you know why that was done?
So as a sergeant, I'm in charge of our pursuits.
Lights were activated and that vehicle then jumped the curb. Correct.
Okay, so there's this tree right here. I should have time-stamped it. My apologies. Well, we'll see it again, I think.
And Sergeant, you had said that, or well, you were asked about the lights being turned off and the timing of that. You mentioned stopping engagement with the suspect vehicle. Do you know why that was done?
So as a sergeant, I'm in charge of our pursuits, whether authorizing or terminating them. And due to this not being with our policy within a violent felony, I had to.
So stop.
Whether authorizing or terminating them. And due to this not being with our policy within a violent felony, I had to.
So stop.
So here's the curb that doesn't seem to be there. How does that get in this picture?
So that's the black pickup truck. This is the vehicle that allegedly the defendant or subject is in. Okay.
Sergeant, you testified that when you saw this particular vehicle, you had your lights on, correct? And you stated that this vehicle was a truck that was at the stop sign, correct? Correct?
There was a truck at the, yes.
Yeah, and you said after you put your lights on, this particular truck remained standstill, correct? Okay, well, let's watch this video because I'm kind of curious. Is this the truck you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we see this truck at 28 seconds. You then complete your turn, correct?
See? I don't see that white curb. Unless that's it there and it's only a partial curb and it just happens to be cut off at the phone pole. Wish there was better video on this from this angle. Maybe I'm just seeing things.
I'm going to pause it in at 54 seconds. You complete your turn, correct?
Correct.
Where's the truck at? Do you see the truck depicted on this video at 54 seconds? Yes or no?
At this point, no.
Okay.
Exactly. And he said the truck stopped. But neither the car nor the truck are there. And if the truck didn't stop, then why would the car go around on the curb?
Okay. But you stated that the truck remained, correct?
Would you like me to explain?
You stated that the truck remained, correct? And after
the truck remained, and that's why the car went around on the curb. How is that so? If the truck's not even there.
you completed your turn, the truck didn't yield to your lights, did they? They drove off, correct?
At this point, yes.
Okay, thank you. Sergeant, no further questions.
So at this point, yes. Did you want to elaborate on that?
Yes. So when I made the statement that the truck stayed is what the reason why the vehicle had to go up and around the dip, around the curve, because he didn't pull it off immediately. He stayed there to some lights, and that's why the second vehicle had to go around him. And as we were doing our U-turn, then he pulled off and we were that's not.
Oh, so that's not something I would see on a on the dash cam now.
No, because it would have been behind us.
Okay, so the truck stayed. The blue vehicle went around the truck.
It went around that telephone pole there and then back on the roadway.
So he's saying the truck sat here while he was doing the U-turn, and when the car went around him, then he moved so the officer, so he wouldn't be in the way of the officer. That's what they're trying to explain here.
Around this telephone pole?
Correct. Off the right side.
So you're saying it got on the curve?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Up on the sidewalk.
So he's saying the black car went around the truck, up on this sidewalk and up on this curb in the yard to get around everything, and came this way. And by the time the cop had turned around, the truck realized he wasn't after him, so he moved out of the way so he'd go after the car. And that's what they're trying to explain here. But that doesn't have anything to do with the real issue in the fact that, again, they don't have any identification, and they ended the pursuit. So what's the real issue here?
Between where this curb is for this house and this pole, correct?
Yes, it goes to the right there. By the pole, you see the elevated sidewalk there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then drives on the sidewalk?
Correct. And goes down that lip there. You see the right side of the truck?
Yeah.
Goes down that lip and then back onto Wall Street around that truck.
There's like a raised area on these people's curb.
Correct.
Did he drive on that?
Yes, he drove over the top of
Oh, okay.
First and foremost, this officer, what valid reason did he have to stop?
And again, that to me seems like an awful tight squeeze in between the pole, the tree, and that concrete thing there. You know, I'm just wondering.
Mr. Winfrey, he stated that they were allegedly there to do a search warrant and that he allegedly heard some type of information that Mr. Winfrey was getting in the car to leave. No arrest warrant. He didn't indicate that Mr. Winfrey had any type of traffic violation of which he should be stopped. No blinker, nothing of the sort. He stated, which is, I believe, not truthfully, that originally that he saw this truck and we put his lights on, this truck remained at a standstill. We saw from the video that this particular truck was at a stop sign, and after the sergeant completed its U-turn, this truck was gone. This truck did not yield to the lights. How would this truck know that the sergeant was aiming for the car behind him? Obviously, these lights were no indication to anybody that a traffic stop was being performed. We saw him do a particular U-turn. It took him 20 seconds to complete this U-turn. From a reasonable standpoint, it would seem that he was pulling up to this particular yard and people were approaching. You saw people coming from outside, they were approaching. It seemed like his business was at this particular residence. He had no indication that he put his sirens on, yelled out the window, put on the PA, had any indication whatsoever to anybody, least of all Mr. Winfrey, that he intended for any vehicle to stop, especially if you're going the opposite way of a particular vehicle. He could have.
And that's what I was pointing out as well earlier with the people in the yard. No notice. You know, just having lights on isn't full notice. You've got to identify yourself, particularly when you're looking for somebody else, by their identification, and they're required to identify themselves as police officers. And in these kinds of situations, the sirens would probably be more appropriate to catch everyone's attention. And again, if he's got a PA system, he should, you know, notice the proper person in that immediate area. Hey, driver of the Nova, pull over. That way the people in the yard know he's not after them, and they can quell their emotions right away, their excitement, that escalation immediately in their area that was quiet to begin with. You know, these things are indicators that they're supposed to use as mechanisms to give that very notice.
Pulled inside of the vehicle. He could have pulled on the side of the vehicle and said, hey, pointed at him, you pull over, you pull over. Could have did a number of things. He had his lights on for all of what, 25 seconds? And 20 of those seconds, he was completing a U-turn. And after he completed that particular U-turn, he turned his lights off. There's no indication whatsoever that anybody would have been under any.
Turn the lights out because neither, evidently, in such a short span, 5 to 10 feet, that car automatically disappeared down one of those streets. How do you not see which street he went down and then decide right afterwards to turn or to cancel the pursuit? That was a pretty immediate decision.
Knowledge that.
And remember, this is the passenger in the car. This isn't the driver. There were two people. There's two witnesses, and neither one of them saw what was going on.
This officer intended them to turn around or stop. Now, he states that allegedly Mr. Winfrey went over the curb and did all this. From my observation of this video, it seemed that there's no room for Mr. Winfrey to go around this truck onto the curb, onto somebody's house, and then over a curb. Like, that just seems kind of far-fetched, especially from the vantage point where the officer would have been. He's in the passenger seat. So allegedly.
And you would think that you would see tire marks and either in the grass or on that nice white piece of concrete.
When this is happening, his car is not even turned around in a position to even observe these particular things. So Judge, even at a probable cause standard, this is not a trial, they have not met their burden for one, having even a purpose to even stop Mr. Winfrey. Least of all, any evidence that they notified Mr. Winfrey that he was being stopped and he then disobeyed that particular order. So, Your Honor, we would ask.
He's basically telling them that before they even bring a case, they don't have any evidence of anything. None.
for this case to not bind over and be dismissed.
He said that they were executing a search warrant on an address of 1029 Lathrop. How does that translate to I can just stop you randomly on the road?
Exactly. Very good question. See, a search order or a search warrant has to name the particular things and or persons to be searched and found in the place it needs to be found. Those are particulars that they are bound to in law, and therefore that's why I said you can't bind this case over.
For a traffic stop. Am I supposed to where I'm going to stop you?
It's the epitome of going to court with unclean hands. He who seeks equity must come with clean hands. These people don't come with clean hands, folks.
Take you back to Lathrop? I'm confused about that. I have more questions. The concern about, I think it's unreasonable. Officers don't usually yell out of the vehicle, hey, stop. But a state trooper vehicle has the ability to intercom, and that's reasonable. I do share the concern that the sergeant trooper testified that the black vehicle or a pickup truck had stopped. Trooper hasn't even done a complete U-turn here. He hadn't even finished. There's no black truck.
Yeah, and there's no black truck or black car. And again, I don't see tire tracks in this yard or anything.
There. So that's not true. The black truck didn't yield because it's gone. As you can see at the angle of where this trooper is, he hasn't even turned all the way around yet. So the black truck couldn't yield. The other reason why I want you to stop there, because I'm trying to figure out how big is this sidewalk that a vehicle could get on it. That's why I asked, did he drive on the people's yard? Do you see these leaves and stuff here? I don't even see skid. I don't see any marks where anybody drove through and from here. Your Honor, this is the date set for a preliminary examination. The burden is squarely upon the prosecution to establish probable cause. That's more than mere suspicion that the alleged crimes occurred, alleged felony occurred, and that you, Mr. Markel Winfrey, are the individual who committed the alleged felony. This is a felony charge of fleeing, eluding in the third degree. We had the testimony today of one trooper, Sergeant Scott Williams from Michigan State Police. He stated that on or about March 13th, 2025, that at or near the area of 1029 Lathrop or near Walsh Street, that he was working with the Secured Cities partnership, and that they were executing or to be executing a search warrant at that address, and that he was advised or notified through surveillance.
And therefore, they had no right to even be pursuing him outside of that address. Okay? So the pursuit itself was unlawful according to the very search warrant they were operating under. And that's one of the reasons he quit the pursuit so soon. But that doesn't mean you can turn around and give him a charge of evading and eluding the police as a felony charge. Really? That's asserting quite some authority outside of the judicial legislation.
Not to dispatch that the suspect or subject would be leaving, and that he was coming down Wall Street, that he had been provided a picture of the suspect during the briefing. It was the Secretary of State ID or photo, and that the name of the suspect being Markel Winfrey, which the witness identified here in court. The Sergeant Trooper testified that as they were approaching the area at the intersection, that there was a black pickup truck and a blue Chevy Malibu behind it, which the court saw in Defense Exhibit A, and that based on that Sergeant Trooper's training and experience, this area is an area where the speed limit should be 25 to 35 miles per hour. Also, he indicated that this trooper was not operating the MSP vehicle, but it was a fully marked state police vehicle, that they were in fully marked uniform, that Trooper Harshman was driving. He stated that there was a time during this, what he calls a pursuit, that the vehicle that the MSP was in activated their lights. He testified that when the lights were activated, that the suspect, Mr. Winfrey, pulls up on the curb, drives through the telephone pole, around the telephone pole, that is, and proceeds down Walsh, evading the officers. Again, it should be noted that when questioning the officer, the trooper testifies that there's a black truck that recognized or saw the lights and that he yielded. But his testimony is that the defendant, or the vehicle that the defendant supposedly was in, did not yield. The court does have concerns about the veracity of that portion of the testimony, because the court is looking at the exhibit of the dash cam, in which at this point, because it did take, I noted how long it took for the trooper to turn the vehicle around.
And see, that's why I don't imagine how this judge is even competent, because they're still not addressing the fact that they had no right to pursue him simply because of the search warrant. That should abate this entire video. It has no consequence whatsoever to the search warrant, which was the purpose of their operations. Period.
I believe from the time that the lights were activated, which is at the 30-second mark. This right here depicts the 54-second mark. We're talking 24 seconds it took for him to even get to this point. He hasn't even fully turned around yet. In 24 seconds, which if you're in the pursuit, you're trying to stop me, and you're going in the opposite direction, you're going to probably have to get behind me and turn those lights off within sooner than 30 seconds for me to assume that you're pulling me over. When we saw the trooper pull his vehicle up, he pulls it off at a diagonal. He's completely facing, even before the defense attorney brought it up, I had already wrote that down. He's completely facing the yard of this house. I would assume you're going to speak to these people. I see people coming there. So if I am there, that's what I would assume. However, if in fact the trooper's statement could prove true here, that the black truck reasonably assumed that the officers were trying to.
The imposition there is that these officers think as soon as they turn their lights on or something, everybody in the vicinity needs to stop. That's not how it works.
Turn around to get them. If he yielded, then I should see the black truck here. At the 54-second mark, before the officer could even get the vehicle completely turned around, there is no black truck. Even if we move it forward and see where the officer completely turned around, there's no black truck even in sight. It has been gone. It's for those reasons that I don't believe that the people have met their burden. This case is dismissed for lack of probable cause.
Thank you, Judge.
Marquil Winfrey.
Easy way is to point out their lies.
Walked into that courtroom facing a felony, fleeing, and eluding charge in the 3rd degree, a conviction that in Michigan can carry up to 2 years in prison and a permanent felony record that follows you for life, a charge that serious demands evidence that holds up under scrutiny. What the prosecution brought instead was a sergeant whose testimony collapsed against his own dashcam footage, wasting the court's time and putting a man's entire future on the line over a story the camera simply did not support. The judge didn't need a trial to see it. Probable cause denied, case dismissed, and Winfrey walked out of that courtroom that day without a conviction. But the bigger consequence sits with the prosecution. A dismissed preliminary examination means the state burned their shot at the lowest burden of proof the legal system offers. In Michigan,
at the lowest burden of proof that the legal system offers. This is the importance of educating yourself and learning how to speak before these courts and point out the fallacy of these officers' lies. When you bind them up in their lies, it's not you binding them, it's them binding themselves. A man is bound by his own words, and if his words are lies, then he's bound to those lies, and they cannot move forward with that preliminary. Probable cause. Is it truthful? Or is it full of lies?
Michigan, once probable cause is denied at this stage, refiling that same charge becomes a significantly harder road, and the credibility of that sergeant's testimony now has a court record attached to it that says otherwise. If you think walking out of that court...
And they can be put on a list for those lies. In other words, the Brady list, where their testimony is no longer qualified. They are known liars. Point out their lies, disqualify them from even being able to testify, and I'm pretty sure you'll find a significant change. But again, that significant change must come from you first. You must learn this stuff so you can educate yourself on how to stand up on it. Now, the next one I've got is arrested for being in a McDonald's bathroom too long, then dies. The atrocities will never stop. And again, it's all built on lies and false authorities and that physical aggression and escalation in their drive to make sure that they go home at the end of the night and make sure that everyone they come across is subject to that authority and physicality. They must comply and they must do it immediately or else. That's a strict Hitler's willing executioners, folks. So let's take a look at the next one. And of course, we've got to quit with the commercials. So please, folks, hit that PayPal link and help a brother out. We're trying to get the StreamYard subscription back up so we can do our new podcast paneling over on Short Bus Podcast TV. Echo Bus Rides is the channel, and it'll be the Short Bus Podcast TV, where we hope to have all kinds of great debates on technology and resolutions of getting back to our true nature. This is the civil rights lawyer. So again, go check him out. Always brings us great videos. Let's take a look.
The manager of a McDonald's called 911 concerned that this guy had been in their bathroom stall for at least an hour.
You need to come out. You've been in for over an hour. You need to come out now before I go in there and I pull you out. Let's go.
His name was Peter Villalobos. He was not alleged to have committed any crime at all.
Wash your hands.
So how and why did he end up dying in police custody that morning? The police department is apparently having difficulty figuring it out.
Despite life-saving efforts, he was pronounced deceased. The cause of death is still under investigation.
Perhaps we can find some clues in the recently released body cam footage.
Good morning. This is Peter. Chief complaints will be full body pain. They did have to restrain him physically. Did do some closed fist blows to the head, along with some elbows. Got some contusions to the forehead and to the nose, and swelling to the eyebrows and the nose.
Stop looking around. What is your date of birth?
Stop looking around. Stop looking around. And again, this is a case where somebody's got a mental issue and has been diagnosed, and these people have no discernment on this shit. When they see people that have that some kind of mental disability or incapability, they automatically assume they're on drugs and they're violent. This guy showed no violence. In fact, he said he wasn't going to resist, but he wasn't going to allow them to either. And they say this man had paranoid schizophrenia. I think that sounded very reasonable. Let's see how reasonable this paranoid schizophrenic person really was.
How do you not know your date of birth? If you don't tell me your date of birth, I'm going to put you in handcuffs.
1998. I don't have
How does no one remember? How does someone not remember their birthday? It's something you celebrate every year as a kid. Stop making things so difficult. You hear me?
And what we find out here is this is pushing an issue, making it look like he's dumb because he doesn't remember his birthday, when in fact, he had already given this man his birthday. He'd already given this man his both first name and last name and his birthday. And this man is trying to now say he doesn't know it. Okay? So as we watch this video, it's going to go back to where it started, and you're going to hear this man give him both his first and last name and his birthday.
I'm not listening to you.
He's again, this paranoid schizophrenic is having issues right now remembering because he's nervous. You're making him nervous. I don't think that's paranoid schizophrenic. Maybe he's a little bit more nervous than some people. But even I get nervous just being around these cocksuckers. Excuse my language.
Making things so difficult.
What do you mean?
You hear me?
You're talking to the wrong person.
You hear me?
Credit reporting agency TransUnion 2025 and almost every to take your personal at McDonald's on Indiana. The video. On June 20th, 2025, an employee at McDonald's on Indiana Avenue in Riverside, California, called 911 reporting that a man had been in a stall in the men's bathroom for at least an hour. They didn't allege any criminal conduct, though implied that they were concerned for his well-being. This is the actual 911 call.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, just I want to let you know right now, I have one person in the restroom, have more than 1 hour inside, and he's no answer.
What's the address?
The address?
Yes.
7074 Indiana Avenue, 7474 Indiana Avenue.
What's the name of the business?
McDonald's.
So when you go to knock on the door, does the person say anything?
Yeah, a lot of people go and knock the door and he's no answer, nothing. He's not in more than 1 hour. So I send one person and I examine a person or two and no examine another person and nothing in there.
Okay, but do you hear anything from inside the bathroom? Like water running? Does it sound like they're making noises? Anything like that?
No.
Okay. Was it a male or a female?
Male. Male.
Like, did anyone see him before he went in?
Yes, the main guy, he saw him.
Okay. Was he white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
I'm sorry?
Was he white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
White.
How old did he look?
I don't know, like 40s or 30, not 30s, I think. He told me like 30.
What was he wearing?
I'm not sure. Let me ask. Shorts and what else? Shorts and black shirt.
Are you a manager or an employee?
No, the manager.
And is he in the men's restroom or the women's?
No, in the men's restroom.
Okay, we'll send someone over there to check on him and see what's going on, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Then, at around 6:45 a.m., a police officer with the Riverside Police Department arrived, and he entered the men's bathroom. He approached the closed and locked stall, and this exchange took place.
Whoa.
Wow, exactly. Don't listen to the commercial. My apologies. Please hit the PayPal link and help a brother out. We'll get rid of him. I think I'm going to do that today. I've got enough to do that. So We'll continue working on the StreamYard subscription. For anybody that wants to share some love, all is appreciated.
You've been in here for over an hour.
No, I was there.
You've been here for over an hour, and the employees want you to leave. You need to come out now. What was that? I can't hear you. Yeah, well, you're being trespassed because you've been in here for over an hour. You hear me?
Yeah.
Hurry up.
And this is the point of contention I want to make in these trespass charges. There's a process in that. And first, they must warn you. In that warning, they tell you you have to leave. And generally, they try to get your information. And that's acceptable. Because when they actually charge you with trespass, is once they've given you warning and you go back. Now it's a crime. They have reasonable articulable suspicion, and they can request the identification to double check and verify that, yes, they did give you a trespass warning. Okay? Understand how it works, and you'll find yourself doing much better.
You need any medical attention? 243 open code 40. Cancel fire anymore. Hurry up. What's your first name? Yes, it does. What's your first name? You're being trespassed. So what's your first name? What was it? It means you're not allowed to come back here anymore. At all.
The officer tells Peter that he's being trespassed from this McDonald's. But we listened to the entire 911 call, and there was nothing in that 911 call where the McDonald's manager requested that the police trespass Peter from that McDonald's.
So we have our first lie is that he's being trespassed. An officer of the law cannot solicit trespass. That must be done by the owner of the property. Now, they can delegate that responsibility to their management, but again, that does not come from the officer. It must come from that management. And as he pointed out, that was clearly not an issue at this point. And he cannot go to the manager and then ask if they want them to trespass him. That is, again, solicitation. It must first be initiated by the manager. And the manager would only do that if they saw cause for that. As a business owner myself, and having had issues like this, absolutely will check it out. Absolutely. Thank you. 10-17-69 Able, ad blocker for the win. I will check it out. Thank you. And so the trespass, again, is a matter of process. And the officer in his job wants the trespass automatically. But the manager may have something of a more caring heart and see a necessity to maybe just let him be because he really didn't cause any damage or anything. He really didn't hurt anybody. He just used the bathroom for an excessively long time. So maybe there isn't any reason for her to want to press trespass charges or give a trespass warning. So again, it must be initiated by the property owner or the management. Never is it supposed to be a trespass initiated, solicited by an officer of the law. Never.
Additionally, we can see the very beginning from where the officer turned on his body cam. And no portion of the beginning of his body cam footage involves any sort of interaction or conversation with a McDonald's manager or employee wherein they communicated that they wanted Peter to be trespassed from the property. To the contrary, it seems like their only concern was for Peter's well-being.
Now I have one person in the restroom, have more than 1 hour inside, and he's no answer.
Okay, we'll send someone over there to check on him and see what's going on, okay?
But now he's supposed.
Exactly. His well care, his well-being and caring for that, and not, oh, is he, causing some kind of problem or something? No, it wasn't anything criminal. It was for his well-being. Community care concern once again turned violent against somebody that absolutely had some kind of mental issues? Where is their discernment? And why is it so many people think that backing the blue like this is care for their community? This is absolutely grotesque.
Supposedly needs Peter's identifying information because he needs to allegedly trespass him. Probably what he actually wants to do is to run his name for warrants. And the craziest thing about this entire unfortunate incident that resulted in this man losing his life is that the basis on which this whole thing occurred was completely unnecessary. He asks Peter his name, and if you listen carefully, Peter actually tells him his name from the very first minute of the encounter.
So he's doing as his job says, and he's gathering information immediately on the identification, the name and birth date. What they always do, they want that ID. They want to identify. Just like I said in the last case, they didn't have identity. They didn't have notice. Here, he gave him identity. And he ignores it.
What's your first name?
Well, he can't ignore it. He wrote shit down, and then he turned around and asked him again, and because the guy was nervous, he used it against him. That's pure bullying tactics. Who the fuck in their right mind takes advantage of people that are nervous like that, knowing they've done nothing wrong? Fucking pathetic. Gross.
What? Peter? Peter, what's your last name? Spell it for me.
Peter
How do you
Villalobos.
spell your last name? Is that B as in boy? What do you mean you think so? So say it again. Say it slow. B-I-L-L-A-L-O?
B-O-S.
So B-I-L-L-A-L-O. Okay, and then what is your date of birth? What? Of what year? What? May 9th of what year?
And he spelled that name for him right. V-I-L-L-A-L-O-B-O-S. Because this officer didn't listen, he writes shit down on him. Now he's giving him his birthday.
Of what year? So say it again. Say it slow. B-I-L-L-A-L-O?
B-O-S.
So B-I-L-L-A-L-O. Okay, and then what is your date of birth?
Twice he added B-O-S on there. Twice he told this man B-O-S.
What? Of what year?
May 9th. May 9th.
What? May 9th of what year? 98?
98. May 9th of 1998. So when this happened, he was about 26, 27 years old.
How old are you?
27. He just told him 27. This was the 20th of June 2025, so less than a year ago.
You know, if you're lying to me about your date of birth, that's going to be worse, right? It doesn't matter. How do you not know your date of birth? You need to come out. You've been in for over.
How do you not know your date of birth? He just gave you his date of birth. Already the man is lying and gaslighting this man, saying he doesn't know his own date of birth when he just gave it to him.
An hour. You need to come out now before I go in there.
And he refused to accept twice that at the end of the O-L-O on his name, he was adding the B-O-S, Villalobos.
I pull you out. You heard what I said. You've been in there for over an hour. You need to leave now. It is crazy. Hurry up.
This man doesn't even have hearing competence. Those with eyes to see and ears to hear, folks.
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioLife.
I could, but I'm not going to BioLife. I'm asking supporters here on YouTube and StreamYard, help a brother out, hit that PayPal link, and let's get back to it.
Let's go. Yes, I'm still here. I'm here until you get out. Let's go.
Now, what I want you guys to understand here, if all he's doing is trespassing him, as he calls it, which is actually a trespass warning, and all he's going to do is take his information, which he's already done, so that they can warn him not to come back, which again, he's already told him, we're going to trespass you. It means you can't come back. So he's already given all the information he needs to do. And all he needs to do now is make sure he leaves. This is a very, very imperative point of law that people need to comprehend. That is all this officer is now allowed to do is let the man leave. He is assuring that he is okay under the well-being concern of the management. He seems well. He's on his own. We're going to let him leave freely. And if we have another issue with him somewhere else, we can deal with it then. But as of now, there's nothing under the law that they are required to do, nor have the authority to do, except to let him walk out. There is no criminal offense here. None. And yet he put on the gloves so he can get physical. This is intent. Do you understand, folks? Actions will always speak louder than words. Pay attention to them, folks.
Why did you just lock that door?
I just closed the door.
You locked it. I saw you. Wash your hands.
You know,
Step outside. You're gonna go over by my vehicle. You're gonna stay over by my vehicle while I verify your identity.
While I verify your identity. No, you still have no ability to verify his identity. At this point, it is still consensual. He is freely giving you the information under a call for a person's well-being. There still is no criminal activity going on. You have no authority to demand or verify. Your only authority here is to let him leave. And again, if he shows back up, now you can verify the identity. And if he then gives you a false identification by giving you a different name, then you know he gave you a good name before, or he gave you a different identification at that time. And then you can charge him with false identification.
Right over here. Lean up against my bumper.
I'm not going.
I said lean up against my bumper.
I'm too young.
What?
I'm too young. I'm not going to.
What do you mean you're not going with me?
No, I'm just, I can't.
I told you that you're going to lean up here.
What do you mean you're not going with me? See, that's the future tense use. And he said he's not going with him. And this is reasonable. Again, this officer does not have the authority to detain him. He has already warned him. That's what he's supposed to do. Now he is allowed to freely leave. And he's giving an unlawful command to have him lean against the bumper of his car.
While I verify your ID. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you.
So just to summarize, the officer shows up at the bathroom stall. Peter tells him his actual first name, first thing first. The officer tells Peter to come out of the bathroom stall. Peter does come out of the bathroom stall. He washes his hands, he dries his hands, and then he goes to leave the McDonald's. He's done everything he's been asked to do. And at this point, the officer could have and should have just let him go on his way. To the officer's knowledge, no crime has been committed. Peter should have been free to walk away, but the officer did not let him walk away. He forces him to stay right there at the front of his car, and he just continues to basically harass him about his name and other details.
Turn around.
Now he has put his hands on him, which he planned on. That's why he put the gloves on. And this is now kidnapping. He's trying to create a commercial criminal charge so he can go home at the end of the week with a paycheck to support his mother or his wife and children. That is the only thing these people are doing.
I'm not doing it. Turn around. Right. You're gonna make me call. You're gonna make me call for somebody else to go.
Have you ever wondered if you could make money with a drone?
No, I'm not interested in it. So anybody that wants to help a brother out, hit that PayPal link and send anything you can. Every little bit is appreciated. Every little bit. Always.
Hey, then just listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying put your hands on the hood. I'm telling you to lean up against my vehicle. So turn around.
I don't have to do that.
Turn around. I'm verifying your ID because you're being trespassed.
Everybody else is trespassing.
Maybe if you would have listened the first time, you wouldn't be trespassed. But you didn't listen the first time. So they want you trespassed. Did you give me your real...
So they want you trespassed. Never happened. Lie. Okay? Understand that. And again, once he's been trespassed, that warning, he is free to leave. He has no authority to detain him here. But again, those gloves show an intent.
Identity, or did you give me a fake identity?
My identity. My name's Peter.
What?
My name's Peter.
Peter, and spell your last name for me one more time.
V-I-L-L.
So V as in Victor, not B as in boy.
No, V as in victory. I as in...
Why are you shaking?
I don't know, that's it.
Spell your last name one more time.
V-I-I-L-L.
L-L.
A-L.
A-L.
O-E.
O what?
B.
B?
O-S.
O-S. So you lied to me about your last name.
No, I'm not lying.
So you lied to me about your last name. No, he confirmed it twice in the correct spelling. And when you ended at L-O, he continued on with B-O-S, and you did not listen twice. He does not have the ears to hear, nor the eyes to see. People, if you have the eyes to see, that's why he put those gloves on.
Actually, that is the second time that Peter has accurately told this cop his full name.
What is your first name? What? Peter? Peter, what's your last name? Spell it for me.
Actually, that is the second time.
What? Peter? Peter, what's your last name? Spell it for me. Peter? Peter, what's your last name? What? Peter? Peter, what's your last name? Spell it for me.
Villalobos. Villalobos. And because he does not have the ears to hear, he spelled it B-I-L-L-A-L-O, and then did not hear the B-O-S that he added on twice to correct him. That is not lying. That is the officer gaslighting, saying he's lying when the officer is lying.
Peter, how do you spell your last name?
And it would have been 3 times if not for this head cop interrupting him on the 3rd attempt.
Peter, and spell your last name for me one more time. So V as in Victor, not B as in boy.
I mean, spending an hour or more in the bathroom stall of a McDonald's is punishment enough, I would suppose, but it's not illegal. It's not a crime. He was asked to leave. He did leave. He was asked for his name. He gave it. It's not difficult for police officers to come up with a legal pretext to hold somebody for a while, investigate further if it's reasonable, but they're not allowed to just arbitrarily detain somebody and hold them and question them because they want to be or they just have some hunch. In reality, according to Peter's mother, he had been diagnosed with schizophrenia like 10 years earlier. You would think that as a police officer where you have to deal with all sorts of people, you would notice when you're dealing with somebody who has, signs of mental illness. I'm no expert in recognizing these or dealing with these, but even I can see that here. And I would imagine that the best way to deal with that is not being a total asshole to the person and holding them against their will, basically kidnapping them in the absence of any constitutional justification for doing so.
Stop looking around.
Who has, signs of mental illness. I'm expert in recognizing these or dealing with these, but even I can see that here. And I would imagine that the best way to deal with that is not being a total asshole to the person and holding them against their will, basically kidnapping them. And I can see that here. And I would imagine that the best way to deal with that is not being a total asshole to the person and holding them against their will, basically kidnapping them.
So how many times are we going to hear people basically agree that it's basically kidnapping? And how long is it going to take for people to comprehend that it's not basically kidnapping, it is kidnapping?
Absence of any constitutional justification for doing so.
Stop looking around. What is your date of birth? How do you not know your date of birth? You don't tell me your date of birth, I'm going to put you in handcuffs.
1998. I don't have
How does someone not remember their birthday?
He remembered it a few minutes ago, and like I said, now he's nervous as fuck. And I would be too. The officer put on his fucking blue gloves. This man already knew he was not free to go. I think he saw that very well. I think this man is the one that has eyes to see and ears to hear. And they call him the paranoid schizophrenic. Imagine that. This guy is the one living in fear, putting on rubber gloves because he's got to manhandle somebody that he doesn't have the authority to even fucking fuck with anymore. Your job is done.
It's something you celebrate every year as a kid. It's something that you have to write down on a lot of paperwork as an adult. Lean up against my vehicle.
I'm not doing it wrong. I'm not doing it.
You're getting trespassed.
Okay, I'm getting trespassed.
No, lean up against my vehicle. I'm verifying your identity.
I don't have no identity to show you.
You do. Everybody does.
Be right there. Be right with you, folks. Hold up. Hold up. Okay, let me get the right setup here. Boom.
Peter, look at me. If you're trying to lie, you're going to go to jail.
If you're trying to lie, you're going to go to jail. You've already got the information. What else is there left to lie about? Why do you keep asking him questions, and why are you detaining him? You've already done your job. See, now we're looking at Hitler's willing executioner again. And that's why I say it's sad. This man dies as a result. That is execution over your fucking feelers and the want to bring home a paycheck. So you got to make it a commercial crime and see if you can arrest him on something. Fucking pathetic.
If you're lying to me, you're going to jail. Well, it seems like you're lying. You're trying to tell me you don't know your birthday.
It seems like you're lying. Well, you got the information and you already said you're going to verify it. Go fucking verify it and leave him the fuck alone. Instead, he stands there and keeps escalating it, keeps digging, keeps making him more and more nervous. That's the tactic. They know they mentally disturb people just by wearing that officer, that suit, that clown suit, that badge, all them weapons, because they're bitches.
You gave me a fake last name the first time. What is your date of birth?
You gave me a fake name the first time. No, you didn't listen, and it's clear on the fucking video. Your own body cam. It is clear. See, this is the guy that needs to be put away for life. Okay? Him and his buddy that come in and kill him. Just because he didn't die immediately. It was a couple hours later.
What is your date of birth?
I can't say that.
What is your date of birth?
I don't have one.
Okay, so what I want you to do is you're going to turn around and put your hands behind your back. I'm going to handcuff you until I verify your identity.
Okay, I'll try to take it right on paper. I can run the paper.
Turn around.
I'm not going with you, bro.
You're not going anywhere. So right now, I'm telling you to turn around.
I'm not a kid. I'm not going to listen to that.
Okay, that's fine. Then you're going to get charged with the 148.
I'm not doing nothing else. I'm not.
Then get charged with the 148, resisting arrest. I'm sorry, but you have no reason to arrest him. Again, you cannot demand that you be allowed to verify the identification. He gave you identification. You are allowed to take that down and give him a warning not to come back, and that is it.
I'm not doing this.
Turn around.
I'm not doing this.
Turn around. Turn around.
I'm not going.
Turn around. You hear me?
I'm not going with you. I'm not going.
Now he's getting physical, and notice he's still waiting for an officer here. Okay, but watch what happens once that other officer gets here.
I'm not going with you, dude.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
I'm not doing anything wrong, homie.
What did I just tell you?
I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not a kid, homie. What the f?
Stop acting like one. You hear me? You hear me?
Yes,
the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for a partner to come over here. I'm going to put you in handcuffs, and we're going to put you in the backseat of my car. I'm going to take you to jail if you do not comply.
Okay, I'm going to comply with you.
Then put your hands behind your back right now until I verify your.
I'm going to have my partner come over here. No, your partner's already on the way. You've got another officer already on the way.
Identity. Once I verify your identity, I will let you go.
What do you mean my identity? What are you talking about?
Who you are. So put your hand behind your back.
No, I'm not doing that.
Did you hear me? Put your hand behind your back.
I'm not doing that, dog. I'm not doing that. I'm doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not.
243, can I get a live intention on location?
I'm not doing it wrong. I'm not doing it wrong, dude.
What did I just say? Hurry up.
What do you want from me, stupid?
And I don't know what 1110 is, but I'd be interested in finding that out.
Let's go. Come on. Stop making things so difficult.
I don't care. I'm not going to listen to you.
Stop making things so difficult.
I don't want to listen to you, dog.
Hey, stop making things so difficult. You hear me?
I'm not listening to you.
Stop making things so difficult.
What do you mean?
You hear me?
You're talking to the wrong person, dog.
You hear me? Stop.
Hey, I'm not about to, right?
Here it says deceptive practices. So his verification of identity is baseless because, again, he gave his first and last name, gave him correctly, and he gave him the correct birth date. Just him wanting to verify it doesn't mean that this guy is being deceptive. Okay? He can't really make that claim unless he verifies it and finds out that he was deceptive. You cannot pre-crime people.
I'm not going to fight you, dog.
Then stop. Then stop. Then stop.
Stop answering your food.
Stop.
Stop fucking with me, bro.
Stop.
I don't have to. I'm not doing nothing wrong.
Put your hand behind your back.
Oh, it's aggression, man.
For over an hour, they asked you to leave multiple times. I told you to leave. You are making an excuse, and now you're being trespassed. So stop. Stop.
See, I don't see this guy as a paranoid schizo. I see him as a true man. He's saying, no, you don't have authority. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm standing on that principle. I haven't done anything. Just like we talked about the video earlier. You're standing there watching a cop punch your daughter. What are you going to do? You're going to be the man? Or are you just going to comply?
All you have to do is just comply, and then you'd be let go after I trespass you. Or they asked you to leave multiple times. I told you to leave. You are making an excuse, and now you're being trespassed. So stop. Stop. All you have to do is just comply, and then you'd be let go after I trespass you. Do is just comply, and then you'd be let go after I trespass you. All you have to do is just comply, and then you'd be let go after I trespass you. All you have to do is just comply, and then you'd be let go after I trespass you.
Comply to your bullshit? No thanks. It's time to stand up and stop, folks. Stop complying to their bullshit. Understand what their bullshit is. Have the eyes to see it and the ears to hear it. And do your education to learn it. This man put on those blue rubber gloves for a goddamn reason. And he knows it.
But you're not listening.
Okay, I'm leaving it for a
You're not leaving right now. I have to verify who you are so I can trespass you.
I don't give a shit. I'm not listening, bro. I'm moving focus. I'm going home. I just want to go home, dude.
Nope, you're not going to go home if you don't listen. If you listen, you're going home. If you don't listen, you're not going home.
Listen.
You're not listening. Until you put your hands behind your back and you're not listening.
I'm not doing this, dude. Everybody can fuck.
The man complied all the way through with the law. He complied with the law. Now this officer is trying to make him comply to unlawful commands. He no longer has authority. Everything he's telling this man to do is unlawful. He's the one that's not complying, while gaslighting that this man is not complying.
Why don't you just let me go? I'll leave the fuck out. Harry, I'm headed and I won't come back. I'm not even.
And here comes his buddy. He just pulled up. He saw him in the window here. He pulled up and now he's out of the vehicle and he's walking up. Check this character out. This is one of the guys that Cop Talk Live was talking about earlier. Takes on that physicality of health and being buff and muscled up.
Trying to ID this guy for a trespass. He was in there for over an hour.
So this cuck motherfucker here can't handle this guy. So he's going to call in the guy that that is more of a man. He's got the muscle and the bulk and the training and the technique and everything to do what he needs to do to make this man comply to his unlawful command. And in so doing, he's going to tell his other officer what's going on while this guy has complied the entire time, and he's going to construe that he's been lying.
We're refusing to leave even when I was here, and now he's not complying.
Refused to leave when I was here. No, he complied all the way through and through. And he was on the way out the door, and then you made unlawful commands.
I'm not doing shit. I'm not going to go to
And of course, insisted that he's lying.
So backup arrives, and if you've watched enough of my videos, this guy needs no introduction. We already know everything we need to know, don't we? The bald head, the too tight clothes, the shaved arms, the look in this guy's eye like you would see in a schoolyard bully, just salivating on some little younger kid he's about to beat the shit out of. Surely that doesn't happen here, does it?
my mom's at home. What the fuck? What the fuck? I don't want to hurt you. You want to fuck me first, huh? Are you going to play out? I'm not going to. Huh? What am I doing wrong now? What the fuck am I doing, huh? I'm not even doing anything to you. I want to hear do what I had to do. What am I doing?
I'm not going to do anything to you. This man has had hands on him for over 5 minutes and has done nothing combative. Nothing.
What is going on?
And has constantly reassured, I'm not going to do nothing.
Trying to verify your identity. I've already told you this multiple times because you're trying to give me a fake name.
I'm not trying to give a fake.
Because you're trying to give me a fake name. Where does that determination come in? Who are you the arbiter of? He gave you what was required under law. You trespass him and he leaves. Then you can go check the identification. And he's on foot. So if he leaves and you verify his identity, I'm sure you could then find him and then assault and kidnap him.
Telling me that you don't want to go to jail, but you're going to go to jail because of the way you're acting.
No, I'm not doing nothing wrong.
Then put your hand behind your back, and then you'll be released once I trespass you and verify your identity.
What are you talking about?
I've already told you multiple times.
Is there anything I can say to you to get complied with? What do you mean complied with? See how you're resisting me? I haven't had to use weapons. I don't know what you have. I have nothing.
I don't know what you have. You wouldn't need to know what he has if this guy would have accepted what he gave him already, his name and birthday. You wouldn't need to if this guy wasn't lying and being deceptive and not complying with the law. It's not this guy. It's this guy. It's the guy all dressed up in a clown suit.
Put your hand on your back so I can do that. This is how we do things. Are you going to comply or you're not going to comply? Wait, I'm sorry. Well, are you going to comply or not? You better than me. I'm about to throw you on the ground. What am I doing wrong? Put your hand behind your back.
Are you going to comply or not? See, this guy doesn't even know the actual facts, wasn't there, and now he's going to sign on for his buddy and tell him he has to comply to his buddy's unlawful command.
Put your hand behind your back. Ow! Okay, put your hand behind your back. All right, bro. Okay, bro. I'm not doing this.
What's he reaching for?
What is he reaching for? He's not reaching for nothing. He's trying to keep you from putting his hands behind his back. Trying to keep you from assaulting him. He's trying to keep you from killing him.
Hi, my name is Tammy, and
I don't care. My name is Keith, and if you want to help a brother out, hit that PayPal link and share a little bit of love. Always appreciated. Trying to get the StreamYard up so we can do full panels again. Appreciate it.
Ground, it goes out of the view of the dash cam camera, and then the body cam, at least one of them falls to the ground. Not sure what happened to the other one, but apparently all we have at this point is this ridiculously far away surveillance camera that shows sort of what happens. So basically they throw him to the sidewalk in front of the McDonald's. They both immediately jump on him, and we can see that they're inflicting various sorts of trauma on him during this time. Clearly, both of these cops, despite the one being the way he is, have very little effective grappling skills, and this one guy is just sort of flailing around, and they have no ability to effectively control him at all. So they're just using this, brute force, their weight, their muscle on him. We don't see the guy pop up and start running again. We don't see the guy flip the script on them and get on top of them and start hitting them or striking them in any way. We just sort of see them on top of him for what appears to be an extended period of time, and it just sort of goes on like that. This goes on for quite a while, and when they get done beating him up, basically, they're out of breath, both of them. They're huffing and puffing. They sit him up against a wall, and you can see the trauma to his head already starting to bruise. They have called for emergency medical services. They are on their way. So now they just have to wait.
Sit up right now. We got paramedics to check on you. Can I have a little water?
Yeah, we're gonna get you some water, all right?
Good. I'm on.
You all right? You all right?
Hey, guys, what's up?
Yeah.
Punk bitch right here. Weak male. Weak male. Beta cuck. Got bullied when he was a kid because he's a dweeb or something. Been put in a position that he can take advantage of other people and make them nervous because of all the shit that he's got signing on for him. Gun, taser, baton, flashlight, dog, partners.
I got his I don't got his data.
Now we got this guy here. Oh, this is a different officer. My apologies. This is the original arresting officer. This is a different officer. I didn't see that. But still, same. See, now we got 5 officers for one guy on a trespass warning, and not a one of them has authority. But they're all going to sign off on each other. They're all going to start taking notes from this guy's notes where he's lying and copy his lies to present this victim is lying.
This is a drive-through. We just go through the drive-through so we saw what happened here. Okay, great. They did any statement.
In these cases where you have an in-custody death without the coroner's report, we're unsure of exactly what caused it. Time periods like this seem to me to be pretty important. But here in their critical incident video, the Riverside Police Department left out a significant time jump. I did not edit this. This is their time jump. And my question is, what happened in that time between? Maybe nothing. I don't know.
We just comply, dude. I don't know. You got a warrant?
Just comply, dude. Just comply, dude. No. That's the rhythm that we're trying to break, because as long as people just comply, they keep changing the laws and tell you just comply and you'll be okay. You just comply and you'll be okay. Comply to what? Your feelers? Because you don't know the law, obviously. See, it went from that to this. So where's the cut? Why is there a cut in this video?
We just comply, dude. I don't know. You got a warrant or something?
Cut and went to another scene. Why was that portion of the video cut out?
We can probably leave for now.
EMS arrives, they load him up, they begin to treat him. Then the officer walks over and fist bumps him and says,
You gonna be cool, dude? Yeah? All right, I want no problems, right, man? Just like I said from the very beginning.
It wasn't very long after that that somebody mentioned that he already looked like he was in distress.
Referring to that other look. Heart rate 140, let's get going out.
Then when they get him to the hospital, they wheel him in and they just list off all of the trauma that was inflicted on Peter by these two police officers. There can be no doubt that it was substantial physical trauma. Then shortly afterwards, he's gone.
Particularly trauma to the head, particularly if you're dealing with somebody with paranoid schizophrenic. You know, these things aren't always determined and are still quite theoretical. So when we're dealing with head trauma on anybody, it's dangerous. But even those that are already under pre-mental issues or pre-known mental issues, the fuck is wrong with these people?
Good morning. This is Peter. Here's the informant. He's a 27-year-old male. So chief complaints and full body pain. He was detained by two police officers today. He got trespassed from McDonald's. He was combative and agitated. Tried to run from them. They did have to restrain him physically. Did do some closed fist blows to the head, along with some elbows. Got some contusions to the forehead and to the nose, and swelling to the eyebrows and the nose. Contusions to the knees and lower extremities. Besides that, no other signs of pain.
While being treated at the hospital, Peter went into medical distress. Despite life-saving efforts, he was pronounced deceased at 9:42 a.m.
It's my understanding that the autopsy reports have not been released publicly. I haven't been able to find them anywhere. Just given that fact alone, along with what we've seen here in this body cam footage, I can't imagine that that doesn't involve trauma that was inflicted on him, that it was just some coincidence, maybe involving drugs or whatever, maybe a combination of those. But this we know, the officer could have let Peter walk out of that McDonald's and most likely he'd be alive right now. But
absolutely. And like I said earlier, if they did verify the identity and find out he lied to them, then that might be something they could then go get him for, particularly under that wellness check, so they could locate family to make sure that he wasn't delusional, or maybe that he did have some kind of mental psychosis or something, or even a frontal temporal dementia of some sort, or any kind of dementia or something. Even if it was drug use, there are better ways to take care of people that need their well-being looked after. These people are not trained for that, and they care to be trained for that. And they care about that pocketbook, that wallet, that paycheck.
Despite the fact that no crime was committed, other than he wanted a name to trespass him from the McDonald's, and he was given a name several times, the officer still messed with Peter, detained Peter, upset Peter, and ultimately fought with Peter and beat Peter, and Peter died. And sometimes that can be justified. Is that justified here? I know he shouldn't have resisted arrest, right? Why was he under arrest? What crime did he commit? Blowing up a toilet in the McDonald's bathroom for an hour for not giving his name to the officer? He did that. All right, he was resisting, but what was he resisting? If cops randomly grab us at McDonald's or out of the McDonald's bathroom and we're not under arrest, what the hell are we resisting? He didn't refuse to leave the McDonald's. He was attempting to leave the McDonald's. He didn't refuse to give a name. He gave the name. The only lawful argument I can see here is that they believed that he was in distress, some sort of medical distress, or that he was in a state where he was a danger to the public. But the video footage does not substantiate that here, in my opinion. And if they thought he was in distress or he was having a mental health crisis or whatever, I mean, they literally handled it exactly the wrong way, just beating the guy up, mocking him, and so on. The Riverside Police Department can't seem to figure out what happened here.
The cause of death is still under investigation by the Riverside County Sheriff Coroner's Office. Because this incident is classified as an in-custody death, I requested the Riverside County Sheriff's Force Investigations Detail to take over the investigation. Over the coming months, the Force Investigations Detail, assisted by the Riverside County District Attorney's Bureau of Investigations, will continue to investigate and analyze this incident. Anyone with information about this incident is encouraged to contact the investigator listed here. Thank you for watching.
But perhaps
And that's one thing that I encourage people to get involved in, is contacting the police department, sheriff department, the prosecuting attorney, the judges, the magistrates, when these kind of events happen, and get involved in the court cases. Show up as a caring bystander of the community that it's done with this. Let them know your presence. They will have the eyes to see if we can fill these courtrooms with people that are willing to let them know. We're not going to just stand by and let this stuff happen anymore. We're letting you know now that we're watching you, and we're watching you in every room, every office, every job, in everything you do, we're watching you. That's your weapon. They pose the big brother's keeping an eye on you. You know, that's what they fear the most, is you keeping an eye on them and holding them accountable. That accountability and transparency. Learn how to do that. Get involved.
You have some thoughts after watching this footage. Let me know in a comment what you think. Hopefully we'll hear what the autopsy results are, and I'll do an update, and you can follow along both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. You can follow me on X at John Bryan ESQ. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary.
Our rights don't end where your fear begins.
Deal with it.
I love that. Banjo playing, fire watching, cigar smoking, good old country boy with common sense. I think he makes a great attorney. Go check him out. The next one I got, you know, we've got officers sending people to the hospital. And then, of course, consequently, they die. Here, what happens when you run into the police at the hospital? You know, what is it we do when situations escalate, when we're already in the care of those that are supposed to be caring for us and giving us the services and protected we need? So let's take a look at this one. This is from, again, civil rights lawyer. Check him out. And it's cruel cop attacks woman at hospital.
No, you're not gonna hurt me.
Go ahead and start at 1060.
What? No.
I don't mess around, Linda.
Imagine that you're in a hospital, you're begging for help.
No, you're not going to hurt me. She's already in fear of him. She already knows. She has the eyes to see and ears to hear. And these are the people they're afflicting. These are the people they're making victims. What can this woman do to harm someone? Place that in your mind, heart, and soul, folks. What can this woman do to harm anybody? And why would this officer approach this woman and immediately act like this? If that was your mother or your grandmother, what would you do?
But instead of help, you get cruelty, your life destroyed by the very people who were supposed to help you. No matter how bad things get, we trust that certain people in our community are there to help us, to save us, to protect us. Police officers, doctors, nurses. Sadly, I've realized that sometimes our trust has been misplaced. And those officers, those nurses, those doctors, sometimes they're just cruel and mean. And even worse, what you're about to see is this happening to someone who is at rock bottom, among the most vulnerable among us, someone who truly needed their help and begged for their help. Instead, she was mocked, taunted, laughed at, injured, and essentially tortured. This is a sad story that has never really been seen before until now, but it needs to be seen. It needs to be shared. I have all the footage. I've interviewed the woman's lawyer, as well as a police expert who was involved in the case. And I know it's tough to watch, but the story must be told so that it does not happen again to someone else.
And you're going to get hurt because I'm going to put you on.
And real quickly, I want to take a brief break because this one hits at my heart. My companion has frontal temporal dementia, and she needs everybody's care and assistance. And I'm one of those men. I don't care if you're wearing a badge. If you're mean, cruel, harmful, or try to victimize my companion, I'm going to do everything as a man with every ounce I have to stop it. We need to start standing up. That's our true purpose as men.
On the ground. Linda.
Go where?
Bye-bye.
I'm okay, please.
There ain't
You don't have the cane, Linda.
Go get,
I brought a cane.
go find a tree branch or something.
Yes, go put your tree branch.
There's some good
Mocking her. Go get you a tree branch. Mocking her. And remember, these people don't do anything. They're the good people, right? These nurses and doctors and stuff. We don't see many like the one here a few years back that stood up and said, no, you can't take blood from him. and they arrested her. We need more of those people. We don't need these good people standing back, not doing anything and saying, hey, that's disrespectful. Don't talk to her like that. It's obvious.
He's over there downtown.
I brought a claim here.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Go.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
320, 4C.
You're a liar triggers him. He's lying. And when she calls him out for it, because she hears the lies, she's got the ears to hear, she calls him out on it. And that's what triggers him. These are weak men.
You're not going to hurt me.
I don't mess around, you understand?
I don't mess around, you understand? You're fucking pathetic is what I understand.
Shouldn't have resisted.
I didn't.
Shouldn't have resisted. She called you a liar. You went after her. What was the crime?
Resist.
Linda Trapp once had a successful and happy life. Originally from Kentucky, she lived most of her adult life in Florida, where she had a career. She was an educated woman, but something happened, something went wrong. By March of 2022, at the age of 61, she was homeless on the streets of Lexington, Kentucky. As bad as she had it, things were going to get much, much worse. That began the night she first met Officer Miles Foster with the Lexington Police Department. He was a young police officer with a history of losing his temper and escalating situations to violence unnecessarily. The night of March 10th of 2022, it was dark and cold in Lexington, Kentucky. It was only 38 degrees outside. Linda had been lucky enough to get a bed at a local Catholic charity shelter, but that
the officer had a record of doing these things.
night, she fell and they thought she might be injured, so they transported her to a local hospital about 7 miles away called St. Joseph's, where they treated her in the emergency department. Then when it came time for her to be released from the ER at St. Joseph's, Linda didn't want to leave. And this was because she knew that she could not get back to her bed at the Catholic charity unless she was provided with a negative COVID test. Remember, this was 2022.
Their policy was that if you have been at a hospital, you have to prove you don't have COVID in order to get back in the shelter. So she kept asking for a test before she got discharged, and they said, we don't have a test to give you. And she was like, I need a test or I'm going to have to sleep outside tonight, and I don't want to sleep outside. That's when they called the police on her.
Officer Miles Foster.
That's when they called the police on her. That's when they called the police on her. The very people that took the Hippocratic oath to prevent the very harm that they know they would cause, putting this woman out in the cold weather like that, sleeping under the stars. These are your doctors and nurses, folks. And they all sign on for each other as well. So when I talk about Hitler's willing executioners, I'm talking about those who comply to do what their boss says, because their boss is the one that's paying them a paycheck. They're doing it because it's their job, and they don't even know their job. They're doing it for a paycheck.
Foster was dispatched to the scene. Within 21 seconds of Officer Foster meeting Linda Trapp for the first time, he would threaten physical injury to her, this 61-year-old woman who was there lying in a hospital bed.
Punk motherfucker. That's what this officer is. He's a punk motherfucker.
Hello. What's going on? Time for you to leave.
I guess get a negative COVID test.
Huh?
I have to have proof of a negative COVID test.
Okay, well, it's time for you to leave.
Then go where?
Huh?
Jail, I guess.
I'm not taking you to jail. You need to leave. I'll drag you out and throw you out on the sidewalk. You just want somewhere to sleep tonight. That ain't gonna happen.
Bullshit.
No, it ain't bullshit.
You just want somewhere to sleep tonight. Fucking duh. Heartless motherfuckers. and if they understand what was just said and listen to themselves, the fuck would you do if you was a 61-year-old woman and had to face sleeping out in the cold? Of course she just wants a place to sleep, you dumb motherfucker.
Obviously, the interaction literally seconds into the encounter started with a command, it's time for you to leave. There was no open-ended questions. There was no dialogue as to how she got to the ER or some indications as to what happened.
Some factors that would assist an officer in the first stage of the encounter. Calm would be introduce yourself, ask questions versus commands, and listen.
Put into questions. There was no dialogue as to how she got to the ER or some indications as to what happened. That encounter rapidly deteriorated within about 21 seconds when he told her, I'll drag you out and throw you out on the sidewalk.
Come on, I'll drag you out. If you want to call my bluff, go ahead.
I don't think I was
See what he's doing?
listening.
He just put them fucking gloves on. Okay? Have the eyes to see this shit, folks. This nice officer over here, evidently he's already got, or maybe he's not an officer. Look, he's a security officer, maybe. Got his gloves on. But that's because he's a security officer in the hospital. She's got her gloves on too. The officer just put his on. When they put those gloves on, they're going hands on. That's intent. Actions speak louder than words.
You're just making it hard on yourself.
Greetings, Blaze.
Huh?
Glad you're
Hurt
here,
you?
brother.
I guess.
Hurt
Going
me.
to.
I'm not going to hurt you.
Pregnant lady gloves.
You ain't got
No,
stuff
these
coming out of your
people.
mouth.
See? Again, she saw him put them gloves on. She knows. She has the eyes to see. She has the ears to hear. She heard him lie, called him on his lie, and that's when he got triggered.
Note that Officer Foster utilizes none of the crisis intervention training that he is supposed to be taught.
Crisis intervention training is actually mandated by state law in Kentucky. In an encounter like that,
Mandated in the state of Kentucky. Why? Because in those particular situations, and if you're situationally aware, and you understand these videos we're going through, it's those that are under disabilities, and it goes to the Americans Disability Act. Now you're violating federal law, and that is definitely a civil rights violation.
I'm looking for somebody that's going to come in, that's going to ask open-ended questions, ask empathetic questions, and then investigate what she needs. You should be able to develop a rapport and get information pretty quickly. The things that are taught in CIT training, a lot of those factors were either knowingly disregarded or literally just thrown out the window.
And in regards to the ADA, and again, in regards to my own situation with my companion being a disabled person, a person with disabilities, both physical and mental, just like our current eviction shit going on, there's what's known as a request for reasonable accommodations, because to do otherwise would be discrimination, would be a violation of one's rights because they're disabled and they don't have the same access as others. And that's what this woman was explaining. Even with that disability and the access to that place, she needed a COVID test if she ended up in the hospital and wanted to go back to that place. So there has to be some communications as to being able to accommodate for that. And if not, give them reasonable accommodation, which would either be allow them to stay the night in the hospital. It's obviously already dark, and it won't be so many hours that this mighty dollar couldn't help support it by letting her stay on a bed in the fucking hospital. If you're so sure that she doesn't have COVID and are willing to let her walk out the door without the supposed required COVID test that this pandemic brought about, then what is the issue? The issue is your own compassion, even under that Hippocratic oath. I urge you again to learn who to have trust and faith in, and that would only be yourself with the proper knowledge, so you can go forth through these situations and let them know who's boss. Because again, guys, I'm a real man. I won't step down. Like I said, I'll put every ounce that I have to make sure it's done. And if I can't, it's going to cost me my life.
Point, there was no threat by Ms. Trapp. There was no indication of any threat. There was no indication of non-compliance by Mrs. Trapp. Instead of calming the situation, he escalated the situation.
Listen closely, because this is a solemn promise.
And this is a solemn promise. I'm going to get rid of these commercials one day or another. In the meantime, help a brother out. Hit that PayPal link and share a little bit of love. All is appreciated. We're trying to get the StreamYard up so we can go full panels on this new debate podcast. Short Bus Podcast TV. Check it out on YouTube. The Short Bus Podcast TV.
Then decided to deceive Miss Trapp, to lie to her, promising her that he would get her a COVID test result if she came with him, and so she does.
These people won't give me a negative COVID.
You don't need a COVID test to stay on the street.
Yes, I do.
Not to live on the street. No, you don't.
Had she had a COVID test and they just wouldn't give her the...
Not to live on the street. No, you don't. Again, what is your not understanding that in order to go back to the shelter is requiring a COVID test because she ended up in the hospital.
The results that she needed, or did they never test her?
I don't think they ever tested her.
No, they did not test her. And there was actually some discussion about her being transported to another facility to do the COVID test. During that encounter, she was promised that she...
Another reasonable accommodation. Even if you can't put her up for the night, the officers took her to the hospital. They can take her to another place where the COVID test can be had. It's all reasonable accommodation. It's not a matter of complying to your fucking ignorance and bullying.
She would be taken for a COVID test by the officer.
So Foster lies to her to get her to go.
Is that all you want is a COVID test?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take you somewhere for a COVID test. Let's go.
Can you get proof?
Huh?
Yeah.
Proof? Proof for what?
Negative.
You can get it. Good
Sure.
Sam. Make your
Yeah.
way down there.
Good-
Sam does
good-
it instantly.
Good Sam does it as soon as you walk in.
We don't do it instantly here.
See? They already know you can take her to Good Sam. Resolution had. What failed here? What failed at this point?
Yeah.
Am I high?
Yeah. You'll have.
We don't do it instant here.
Yeah.
No, we don't. The only way we do is if you're admitted into the hospital and you're not being admitted. So no, it's not instant.
All right, come on.
You can go to UK or Good Sam. They'll do it.
Let's go.
Okay. Let's retract.
Negative.
You can get it. Good
Sure.
Sam.
Make
your way down there. Good Sam does it instantly.
Good Sam does it as soon as you walk in.
We don't do it instantly here.
We don't do it instantly here.
Yeah.
Am I high?
Yeah.
She's asking, you have them here. So if she, see, another resolution is this, if she's registered into the hospital, and then she can have that COVID test. They have them there. They just don't do them immediately. Okay? That's for inpatient hospital treatment. So it's a finance thing. So again, there's a reasonable accommodation that they could charge it off by going ahead and giving her a COVID test. Part of their well-being for the good nature and not letting harm come to this woman. How much is a COVID test? How much of an expense is it really to have them do a COVID test so that she could then go to the shelter?
You'll have.
We don't do it instant here.
Yeah.
No, we don't. The only way we do is if you're admitted into the hospital and you're not being admitted. So no, it's not instant.
All right, come on.
You can go to UK or Good Sam. They'll do it.
Let's go.
That's all I need.
You're
not going to get it here. We've been over this.
They're out.
You need to go.
You're discharged now, so you got to go.
Zip in your pocket so you don't leave your stuff. Lose your stuff. How about that? Come on. Be careful.
Boy, like.
And I can see, you know, why this woman would not want to go with this officer. Damn, he already threatened her in the first 21 seconds, as we saw. Why would you want to go with somebody that is threatening? I, too, would be hesitant. So let's see where the breakdown comes in. Because, in fact, it may be, you know, partially on her because she's hesitant, but it would only be because he is the one that is aggressing and threatening. So I'm saying the breakdown already started.
More blood work.
There you go. Right there. They got all your paperwork.
My cane.
Good. No, don't sit back down. Let's go back out.
I want my cane.
You don't have a cane.
You didn't bring your cane with you.
I did.
You did.
Do we know whether or not she did actually have a cane when she was brought in?
I don't think she had one when she got there.
Linda had her cane taken away at Maine when she hit a nurse with it.
Oh. He had a nurse with it.
Yeah.
You about hit me and Kate tonight.
She went to jail that night too.
You're lying.
I mean, you can't try to hit me.
Okay, so now they've got personal history, you know. So, again, knowing her condition, why would she be hitting the nurse? So, again, we have to question, again, maybe she's got frontal temporal dementia like my companion, and they do things like that.
Kate tonight, so we
You sure did.
Me and Kate could send you to jail if we wanted to because you tried to hit us. So I would
With
leave
what?
while you're with your hand. So I would leave while you're ahead. Because we could press charges on you and it's felony.
Because we could press charges on you and it's felony. Well, again, your care and concern about these patients and your ability to discern their condition and their mentality is totally off base. You're in your feelers, you got a paycheck to make and a family to support. You're a fucking Hitler's willing executioner in my eyes.
You take your choice.
Charges on you all day.
I get a lot of work done in the winter months. There's just really not a whole lot for me to do other than sit here in my work cave and work. And I've learned the hard way that it's very, very easy to get burned out and unhealthy in the wintertime. A friend of mine told me that he drinks this daily health drink called I Can't.
Some other time, okay?
$2 value.
Come on, follow him.
I had a cane.
We'll get you a cane some other time, okay? You good?
I had a cane.
But as they neared the ER's main doors, Miss Trapp stated, I can't walk down hills, I can't.
I can't walk down hills. I can't.
And rather than engage and communicate with Miss Trapp about why she couldn't walk down hills or what sort of help she was requesting, Officer Foster just said, let's go.
Go.
And again, my companion's in the same condition. 2 knee surgeries and multiple surgeries on her feet. She has to use a cane, if not her walker.
Trapp then expressed concern that she was going to be stuck outside that night in the cold. Foster then told her, it ain't that cold tonight. You'll be all right.
I'm stuck outside.
It ain't that cold tonight. You'll be all right. I'm not taking you to jail, so you need to go.
In reality, according to weather data, at 10,
It's not that cold out there. You'll be all right. I wonder if this guy spent a night out in the cold like that without any protection. I did 7 months up in the Appalachians with a backpack and a tent, but I never did it in cold weather like that. Yeah, it got kind of chilly at night sometimes, and there was snow on the ground. And yeah, I got down to those temperatures, but I had a tent and a campfire. Where's this woman going to have a campfire? Or another body to snuggle up with or something even? Nothing. Tell me how you're going to do it.
54 p.m. on March 3rd, 2022, the temperature in Lexington, Kentucky was actually 38 degrees.
I have to go outside.
Yes, you have to go outside.
And stay outside.
Yes. Where do you live at? You homeless? I never met you before. I'm not new to this out there.
So realizing that she'd been deceived and that she was headed outside into the cold without a COVID test, enabling her to get housing that night, she said,
So now they're not going to take her to Good Sam. They made an offer to take her to Good Sam to get the test, but then she could go to the shelter. That was a reasonable request. It was a reasonable accommodation, and they failed. Again,
Said to Officer Foster, "You just lied to me."
You just lied to me.
I didn't lie to you.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
you
said I'm not
did.
taking you to jail. All right, I'll take you somewhere for a COVID test. Let's go.
And then she turned clockwise towards the interior of the building. And at that point, Officer Foster grabs her left wrist and her upper arm, and he sort of yanks her towards the doors, whereupon she fell to the floor, clearly not wanting to go out into the cold when she did not have any place to go, and where the hospital was apparently 7 miles away. While Miss Trapp was on the floor, Officer Foster said, "I do not want to hurt you. Do you want to ride somewhere? I'll try to get you a ride." Eventually, Miss Trapp said, "I'll go on my own."
I'll go on my own.
You want to go? All right, let's go.
Yeah, I'll go.
All right, we're not touching you. Let's go. If I touch you again, you're going to cuff.
Yeah, they already manhandled her now. So now her fear is absolute. Why would she want to go in a police cruiser with them at all anymore? This is why people lose trust in these fucking cocksuckers. Excuse my language.
And you're going to get hurt because I'm going to put you on the ground. Linda.
So once again, rather than de-escalate the situation or help Miss Trapp in any way, Officer Miles Foster again explicitly threatens violent physical force, now threatening to hurt her and put her on the ground. So at approximately 7:00 p.m., Linda Trapp walks out of the hospital emergency department doors, and she turns towards the right, walking on the paved road surface. As she walks away, Officer Foster mockingly says, "Bye-bye."
Bye-bye.
About 15 seconds later, Linda turns back towards the ER and she says, "Can I have a cane, please?" Once again, rather than help her in any way, Officer Foster instead taunts her, saying, "Go find a tree branch or something."
My cane, please.
There ain't have one.
Have a cane, Linda.
Go get.
I brought a cane.
Go find a tree branch or something.
A nurse also shouts, "Go get you a tree branch."
Go put your tree branch.
Officer Foster then continues to taunt her, saying, "Go find a tree branch or something."
My cane, please.
There ain't have one.
Have a cane, Linda.
Go get.
I brought a cane.
Go find a tree branch or something.
A nurse taunts her, saying, "Go find a tree branch or something."
My cane, please.
There ain't have one.
Have a cane, Linda.
Go get.
I brought a cane.
Go find a tree branch or something.
A nurse also shouts, "Go get you a tree branch."
Go get.
I brought a cane.
Go find a tree branch or something.
A nurse also shouts, "Go get you a tree branch."
Go get.
I brought a cane.
Go find a tree branch or something.
A nurse also shouts, "Go get you a tree branch."
Go put your tree branch.
It's a big party and we ain't in it, huh? People here that are taking care of your health don't give one fuck about your health. These people here that are supposed to be taking care of your safety and protection don't give one fuck about your safety and protection. Do you see it? Do you hear it?
Officer Foster then continues to taunt her, saying, "There's some good trees over there downtown."
There's some good trees over there downtown.
Another nurse can be seen visibly smiling and laughing in response to this taunting. All of this served to escalate and aggravate the situation. Miss Trapp once again asks for her cane, to which Foster responds that she didn't have one. Miss Trapp once again called Officer Foster a liar.
I brought a cane here.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Go.
You're a liar.
It was at that moment.
You're a liar. And it was at that moment. Now he's triggered. This man is nothing but an emotional bully. He's a weak ass male. Beta cut.
That Officer Miles Foster began quickly walking towards Miss Trapp. Miss Trapp again called him a liar.
You're a liar.
324C.
At that point, Officer Foster calls out on his handheld radio, designating his unit number 324C. Miss Trapp yells out, "No, oh no, you're not going to hurt me."
No, you're not going to hurt me.
Officer Foster then calls out on his handheld radio, "Go ahead and start me at 1016, or perhaps 1060, which was most likely a request for an arrest transport.
Go ahead and start at 1060.
As Officer Foster is closing the distance towards Linda Trapp, she takes around 8 or 9 steps, slowly backing away down the hospital driveway and away from the building and away from Officer Miles Foster. Just objectively, what is she under arrest for at that point?
Assuming trespass third, but she's outside attempting to leave. She's walking away.
But when Foster reaches her, he grabs.
Trespass third. How is it trespass? They took her there. They took her there under the community care of a common concern of well-being. They took her there after she fell down and recognized that she may not make it through the night if she don't go to the hospital and get checked out. Otherwise, they'd have just picked her up and told her to get going. But no, under the welfare and community concern, they took her to a hospital. Now they're telling her, nope, our services are done. Now you have to leave. In so doing, they actually violated her rights.
Her left wrist and upper arm into what's called an escort position. He then forcefully used an armbar takedown, violently jerking her down towards the pavement while simultaneously using his leg to trip her. This prevented her ability to control what area of her body impacted the pavement.
Come on, go! Come on, go!
So she hits the pavement extremely hard, and she immediately begins to cry out that he had broken her knee.
What the f did you just do? Because I said I wanted my dad and you broke my knee.
All she needed was a fucking cane. All she needed was a fucking cane. Again, another reasonable accommodation that could have been had by the hospital. A crutch. Minimal expense that could have been agreed to be brought back at the next visit. She's obviously been there more than once. The fuck is wrong with people?
You broke my kneecap.
Officer Foster responds by saying, "You should have listened. I gave you plenty of warnings."
You broke my kneecap. Oh, God.
However, at no time did Officer Foster verbalize any intent at all to arrest Miss Trapp prior to grabbing her and using violent physical force to slam her down on the pavement.
Because he had no reason. So therefore he couldn't articulate. And it wouldn't have been suspicion. It would have had been firsthand, now time actually committing the crime. Had none of it. Starting with reason.
Foster and Hilo handcuffed Miss Trapp while she was still in a prone position on the ground. Officer Foster stated to Miss Trapp, "I don't mess around, Linda," or whatever your name is. "Next time you see me, you better not act like this."
I don't mess around, Linda, or whatever your name is. Next time you see me, you better not act like this.
Miles Foster would later admit in his deposition under oath that he was...
The next time you see me. Again, folks, do you hear the intent? They know what their job is. And they know once they see you once, they're going to see you again. You're prey. You're prey for their paycheck.
bragging to Miss Trapp that he doesn't mess around.
Sit up. I don't mess around, you understand? Shouldn't have resisted.
I didn't resist.
Yeah, you did.
Shouldn't have resisted. How did they resist? By backing away? Because that's the only time she had ability to resist. Once you put your filthy fucking bully ass, assaultive, criminal hands on her, you had ultimate authority. She had no defense. 61-year-old disabled woman that can't even fucking walk without a cane, and you think she's going to do what?
When you pull away from an officer when they say you're under arrest, it's resisting.
I was walking away.
So now you get charged with resisting arrest.
He had threatened to hurt her. He had threatened to take her to the ground. And so he did take her to the ground, which did hurt her. I mean, he kind of did exactly what he had threatened to do.
The defense, not just him, but the defense was she had intentionally dropped her body weight, which obviously wasn't true.
She was charged with resisting arrest.
You intentionally dropped her body weight when that's the one thing she's trying to prevent by having a fucking cane. What the fuck is this insanity?
And under Kentucky Revised Statute, you have to show a substantial risk of physical force or using or threatening to use force or violence against a law enforcement officer or another. And that did not occur.
Yeah, it's like the opposite
did not occur. It couldn't have occurred. She didn't even have a cane to swing at him.
That if I think Florida's law
And that's what they want. They want you defenseless.
is like anything fits under their resisting law.
I was walking away.
No, you weren't.
Yes,
we told you to walk away. You refused to walk away.
I did.
No, you weren't. Excuse me. Your body cam shows she was backing away from you. She had already walked far enough away that she had to holler that you were a liar from across the parking. It's 75 feet. Here's the emergency sign on the outside pillars here. The door is interior here. So approximately 50 to 75 feet she had already walked. She was walking away.
I did. You lied.
Absolutely. He lied every step of the way. Little punk bitch.
Shattered my kneecap and broke my jaw.
Kneecap and jaw.
No, you just
most
gotta.
definitely did just do that.
If you broke your jaw, you wouldn't be able to talk out of it. Your jaw's not broken. You just have a scratch on your face.
And my knee.
That'll have to be checked out later.
I didn't do.
That'll have to be checked out later. First, we got to arrest you for our feelers. We're right there by the hospital, but we got to arrest you first. That'll be checked out later. Now she's going to be admitted to the hospital and get a goddamn test.
Clean them up. I'll say, I don't know if we started
I
here
walked
right
out.
next
My apologies, folks. I really got to calm down.
to
I walked out.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine.
I don't care what you made. Your search engine isn't any good unless you're giving it quality input, folks. Do not believe me. Do not believe the neighbor. Do not believe the government. For crying out loud, do not believe your mother. Do your research so you know. And when you use these research engines, use several of them. Come up with many answers on both sides of the tracks, pros and cons. That's where you're going to get your best discernment.
At this point, Linda Trapp's leg was actually broken during the armbar takedown, fracturing just below the kneecap. Miss Trapp.
So it wasn't her kneecap that was broke. It was actually her leg. Imagine that. All she needed before was a goddamn cane. And because every last one of these people involved is chasing a paycheck and has no compassion whatsoever, no reasonable ability to accommodate anybody that would be naturally under their care of safety, protection, and prevention of harm to begin with. And they're the ones that are killing people.
Did complain about it. She did beg for treatment, but she would get none from any of the individuals currently present at the scene. Not the officers and not the medical staff.
Yeah, bring her back into the bay doors here.
Okay.
Yeah, they broke my kneecap.
Let me stand up. Let me help you.
My right kneecap's already screwed up. No, I can't.
I don't want you to.
They pulled her up off the ground. They ordered her to walk back into the ER. She said that she couldn't walk. They told her, you can walk.
All right, let's go.
I can't. I can't.
Yeah, you can walk. Come
No,
on.
I cannot. No, I cannot.
Come on.
No, I can't. No! No!
Then stand up.
No, I cannot.
Linda, you just walked.
You just walk.
He just walked all the way out here. Yeah, and then they threw her to the ground. What the fuck don't you people fucking understand? See, they don't see it. So they don't believe there's anything wrong with her. This lady here, her first responsibility is to take care of this woman. She's appeasing the officers. She's co-signing for these officers. These are Hitler's willing executioners, people.
They just my kneecap.
I did not break your kneecap.
Yeah, they did.
No, we did not. Okay, we're going to stand up. They're bringing a wheelchair out for you.
Yeah, they didn't.
Stand up.
Yeah, they did not.
Come on,
Yes,
stand
they
up.
did.
Stand up there and sit on that. Stand up.
Yeah, they didn't.
Come on.
I didn't do it. I was out.
Eventually, a wheelchair was brought out to the driveway area, and she was placed in the wheelchair, and she was taken inside the outer doors, back inside the emergency department. One of the nurses was using a syringe on the left side cheek of Miss Trapp, which had blood all over it. Linda stated, "It's not just my face, it's my left knee." The nurse responded by saying, "Your knee's fine."
It's not just my face, it's your left knee. Your knee's fine. No, it's not.
Oh, really?
No, it's not fine.
Hasn't even made a proper medical diagnosis. Nothing. No, your knee's fine. I guarantee you, if that was her daughter, it might be a different story, eh?
It's most definitely not fine.
Once again, the nurse said, "Your knee's fine." This time, Miss Trapp responded, "No, it's not. Have you checked?"
Your knee's fine. No, it's not. Can you check?
If you just want to work your way around here.
I can't walk.
Yeah, you can. You stood up as soon as.
Oh, boy. Oh, Lord Jesus, shut up.
At this point, Dr. Timothy Anderson, the attending ER physician,
Blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Can you check?
If you just want to work your way around here.
I can't walk.
Yeah, you can. You stood up as soon as.
Oh, boy. Oh, Lord Jesus, shut up.
At this point, Dr. Timothy Anderson,
You stood up as soon as.
Oh, boy. Oh, Lord Jesus, shut up.
at this point, Dr.
You stood up as soon as.
Oh, boy. Oh, Lord Jesus, shut up.
Blasphemy. But again, I remind you, folks, this is a Christian society where doctors take that Hippocratic oath, like I said, promising to bring no harm. You know, the Hippocratic oath is to Apollo and the Greek gods in a Christian society. You better start thinking. And again, don't believe me, don't believe the neighbor, don't believe the government, don't believe your mother, for crying out loud. Do your research so you know.
At this point, Dr. Timothy Anderson, the attending ER physician, approached Miss Trapp, who was still sitting in the wheelchair, complaining that she couldn't walk. Dr. Anderson uses a light to shine on Miss Trapp's face for several seconds. Miss Trapp said, "X-ray, X-ray my knee, X-ray my left knee." But Dr. Anderson's response to this woman sitting there in his hospital ER with a broken left leg was, "You can do that with your doctor in the office, okay?"
X-ray it. X-ray my knee. X-ray my left knee. X-ray my left knee.
All right, admitter it. I appreciate it. Yeah, if not, sure with you.
Or don't.
You can do that with your doctor in the office, okay?
I can't walk.
Miss Trapp,
You can do that with your doctor in the office. Okay, so they're going to admit her, but they're not going to observe her. They're not going to fulfill their oath to make sure that this woman hasn't come to harm. They're going to side with the police officers and not take their responsibility. That's a police state, and they're called Hitler's willing executioners.
told Dr. Anderson that she couldn't walk. They wheel her back inside. Why are they bringing her back inside after they worked so hard to get her to leave?
So they can clear her for jail.
So she did have some visible injuries, I believe blood on her face.
She had a contusion to her face where her face hit the asphalt. When they bring her back in, she's a patient again after having been discharged. So he approaches her and he's looking in her eye and she's telling him specifically, "I need an x-ray. My leg's broken. My leg's broken." That's when he says, "You can get an x-ray when you see your regular doctor."
They slammed her on the ground. She has a fresh broken leg. And there can be no dispute really that they broke her leg. You know, it's like you wake up and it snowed and you have footprints in the yard. You know, nobody saw it. You can't necessarily obtain direct evidence about it, but everyone knows that's what happened.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work.
And I don't care, because oil is one of the biggest problems. Folks, hit that PayPal link and help a brother out. All is appreciated. Trying to get the StreamYard up so we can do full panels on the Short Bus Podcast TV. Thank you kindly. All is appreciated.
Foster retrieved his police cruiser, parking it under the awning of the main entrance to the ER.
She would not leave, and then she was trying to fight me.
So again, he's lying. She would not leave. She was trying to fight me. No, she was several yards away when she called you a liar and you got triggered and went after her and assaulted her.
And he also bragged that she was man-dropped.
She was man dropped, man.
The fuck is man dropped? Where the hell do they come up with these terms to give themselves nuances to excuse away their lies?
Now, what does man-dropped mean?
I asked him about that during his deposition.
He conveniently didn't know what that word meant.
Right. At that time, he didn't understand.
So he made it up. Man dropped. Created a nuanced term to explain away his lie. I didn't throw her to the ground while chicken winging her arm, knowing that she couldn't walk and needed a cane. And that's why I picked her up and brought her to the hospital in the first place. The insanity.
And with that man, didn't know why he said that.
However, according to the Urban Dictionary, it means, quote, the act of dunking your testicles and or scrotum on a significant other. Sergeant Baker then arrives, and Officer Foster then tells his sergeant, his supervisor, what had happened.
What?
Him about that during his deposition.
He conveniently didn't know what that word meant.
Right. At that time, he didn't understand what that meant. Didn't know why he said that.
However, according to the Urban Dictionary, it means, quote, the act of dunking your testicles and or scrotum on a significant other. So didn't know what that word meant.
Right. At that time, he didn't understand what that meant. Didn't know why he said that.
However, according to the Urban Dictionary, it means, quote, the act of dunking your testicles and or scrotum on a significant other. Sergeant Baker then arrives, and Officer
on a significant other. See, you are the people. You are their boss. So he might likely have known exactly what it meant, but just didn't want to admit to it. Lie by omission. Lie by ignorance. Oh, I don't know what it really means, but I used it.
Foster then tells his sergeant, his supervisor, what had happened.
She wouldn't leave here. We finally got her walking out, and she was like, "F you, I'm not leaving." And I was like, "Okay."
Foster told his sergeant that Miss Trapp was flailing her arms.
And I went to the restroom and she started, flailing her arms and kicking stuff. So.
However, the body cam footage does not indicate that her arms were flailing. He also told the sergeant that she was kicking and stuff, which is also not corroborated by the video footage. Foster also lied to his sergeant about Linda Trapp saying, "F you, I'm not leaving."
She wouldn't leave here. We finally got her walking out, and she was like, "F you, I'm not leaving." And I was like, "Okay."
At no time during the body cam footage does Miss Trapp ever say that outside the hospital.
There's some good trees over there downtown.
No, you're not going to hurt me.
Additionally, during his deposition, once under oath, Officer Foster admitted that Miss Trapp was not kicking, hitting, or fighting. Foster also...
So now we have contradiction. She started fighting me. How does that work?
Told the sergeant that she's got a little scrape, and she's saying that her knee hurts.
Put her to the ground. She's got a little scrape. She's saying her knee hurts. I just want to... Is that her right there? Yeah, they put a Band-Aid on it.
This was a minimization of the verbalized and actual injuries that Miss Trapp received as a result of the armbar takedown by Officer Foster. In reality, Miss Trapp verbalized a broken knee, a broken kneecap, and she pleaded for an x-ray of her left knee. Officer Foster, who applied the force that caused the injuries, was well aware that Miss Trapp's knee impacted the pavement during the takedown, and that she immediately afterwards claimed that her knee was broken and that she couldn't walk.
Because I said I wanted like that and you broke my knee. You broke my kneecap.
Imagine breaking your knee and not being able to walk, and they forced you to walk. Imagine this if you're a capable being, let alone somebody that's got obvious disabilities and needs a cane to walk to begin with.
You broke my kneecap. Oh, God. Yeah, they broke my kneecap.
The actual severity of these facts should have been communicated by Foster to his sergeant. Instead, Officer Foster minimized what happened, as well as the resulting injury, through his choice of words.
Put her to the ground. She's got a little scrape. She's saying her knee hurts. I just want to...
She's got a little scrape. Scraped up the whole fucking cheek. And she's saying her knee hurts. No, she told you her knee is broken.
Yeah, they put a Band-Aid on it.
As the arresting officer, Officer Foster was the one who was responsible
Yeah, they patched it, put a Band-Aid on it. No, that's not a Band-Aid.
for ensuring medical treatment and relaying accurate information to the investigating supervisor. But he wasn't the only one to give inaccurate information to Sergeant Baker. Listen to what the hospital security guard said to Sergeant Baker about what he allegedly witnessed.
That's what I thought. He's a hospital security guard. That's why he already had the gloves on. He works for the hospital as a security guard.
All of which is easily disproven just by watching the body cam footage.
Made it maybe about to where the tree is there, turned around, refused no further to go anywhere, and then she tried kicking one of them. And
refused no further to go anywhere. Lie. Then she tried kicking one of them. Lie. See, they will sign on for each other and lie for each other.
Then it proceeded from there.
Gotcha. Did you actually see the whole arrest?
I witnessed about 90% of the case.
What did that look like?
They were here. She walked down. She started to refuse. Started swearing at them. They went down to her.
Started swearing at them? Nope, she never swore. She called him a liar.
Tried telling her it was either down that way or they were going with her. She went to go kick them, and then they proceeded to...
She went to go kick them. Okay, this is a woman that needs a cane to walk. She's having a very hard time walking. That's why they took her to the hospital to begin with. She had fallen. Maybe because they took her cane the last time they were at the hospital, like they said.
Place her to the ground and arrest her. And then she got her Miranda rights twice, one there and one there. But she was resisting arrest from them when they were down there with her.
Miranda rights twice? I don't know that she was read her Miranda rights at all. Haven't seen that on video yet.
Continued to be non-compliant.
Yeah, and that was kind of where the injuries kind of came from, is where she started resisting with them. And then when they tried bringing her back, she just dead weighted, so we had to get the wheelchair for her.
And then she was brought back up here.
Yeah, because we wanted to. Yeah.
She just dead weighted. No, they broke her fucking leg. They assaulted her, threw her to the ground, and broke her fucking leg.
And the doctor treated her. She has a separate set of paperwork for checking the...
The doctor treated her. She has a separate set of paperwork for treating the
face.
Miss Trapp was then...
The face. Where's the other paperwork for treating the knee?
Transported via wheelchair to the transport van located in the parking lot.
Not the left leg.
I've seen you walking like this for years.
She was being taken in the van, not because...
I've seen you walking like this for years. So you know she needs a cane. Yet you refuse her a cane. A reasonable, quite reasonable accommodation for someone with such a disability. That is the epitome of discrimination, folks.
Because she was in a wheelchair, but apparently because Officer Foster didn't want her in his police cruiser because he thought that she was dirty and he didn't want to be near her. In order for her to get in the van, she was required to walk up 3 metal steps as well as a 4th step in order to enter the van. Officers attempted to lift Miss Trapp out of the wheelchair to load her in the van. They attempted to force her to stand upright and force her to walk on her broken leg up the steps to the van. So they attempted to force Miss Trapp to stand on...
That most people that need a cane cannot do either. They require a lift, even if they can stand with a cane. They still require a lift. She told them she cannot go up and down hills. Steps are quite different.
On her left leg, later determined to be broken due to her injury.
That's why they have handicap ramps. They already know this.
injuries, and despite the officers attempting to force her, Miss Trapp could not walk into the ambulance.
No, God! Well, you gonna throw me over? I'm touching your ow, Wait, no, you're not doing that to me.
I wasn't touching your left leg. I was touching your right one, the good one.
You're not gonna, no. That hurts like hell right now.
So here
They didn't x-ray that, no, they didn't. Hell no.
They said they did.
No, they did not.
Okay, so
No, not the left leg. No, they
we're
didn't.
not professionals, okay? But they are inside the hospital, okay? So they checked you out.
No. Yeah, that's what it said before. I still wound up
Well, they check you out. So we're going to, the long and short of it is you have to go to the jail, okay? And we're willing to help you get up in there, okay?
So
if you bought Earth Breeze because of me,
voice of Sergeant Baker, and we can't hold him completely blameless here, because although he was misled by the choice of words and the omissions from Officer Miles Foster, and although he was misled by the hospital security guard, he knew damn well that the medical staff, that the doctor on duty did not check out her leg. He was there to observe the fact that she was complaining about her left leg and begging the doctor, begging the nurses to x-ray her leg, saying that it was broken. He knew damn well that they did nothing to examine or treat her left leg. And true.
Absolutely. See, that doctor iterated that they weren't going to do anything. He showed intent. And then the security guard, police officers, and nurses all covered for him, saying that, yeah, we treated him. That's a lie.
True, unaccountable government employee fashion, what Sergeant Baker did do was photograph Linda's leg as she's sitting there at the ER doors in a wheelchair.
Based upon
the officer did that?
He knew damn well that they did nothing to examine or treat her left leg. In true, unaccountable government employee fashion, what Sergeant Baker did do was
Sergeant Baker photographed it, not the doctor. That doesn't qualify as medical treatment of any kind, nor does it qualify as a proper medical diagnosis, particularly because the officer is not licensed to do so. So if they're taking medical advice off of an officer who took a picture, I would be completely dumbfounded.
Photograph Linda's leg as she's sitting there at the ER doors in the wheelchair.
Based upon the information that we had in evidence for review, there were still photographs that were taken by the on-scene supervisor that night with Miss Trapp in the wheelchair in the ER. The left leg was actually curved outward in that photo. It's the first thing that stood out to me reviewing the evidence.
It was visibly broken. It was that broken. And yet here they are gaslighting her.
And so they took a picture, but it wasn't a picture of the knee itself. It was a picture of her clothed, sitting in a wheelchair, not on a table, not with the clothes off so you could see the actual knee, nothing.
That her leg isn't really broken. It doesn't really hurt. She can actually walk. She's just lying.
So let's put your weight on that other leg, okay?
I got your arm, and we got you to both sides.
It's gonna hurt like that.
All right, just take it slow. Take it slow.
No, I can't.
You're doing
Something's
it.
wrong with this left leg.
Okay.
They can x-ray it. They can x-ray it. No, there's something very wrong. The right leg's okay. You need to on. That's just right.
Here, let's put your weight on your right leg and put your right leg forward, okay? I don't know if it would be helpful if somebody kind of got up on the top of the stairs.
No, let's do
You're
that.
gonna have to heat them on.
Yes, I will do that. Yes, I will do that.
Oh, let's go. We're gonna lift you up.
Yes, I can't bear weight on my left leg. Ow!
Okay. If you need to lean back, you can, but let's try to keep moving forward.
Not no more. That hurts like hell. No, it hurts like hell.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, I'm sorry it hurt you. I can't fix that.
And the hospital says that you're cleared to go, okay?
They didn't check my left leg, now did they? No. Did they?
I'm assuming they provided
No,
whatever
they
medical
did not.
attention was necessary, okay? We got that
They
claims
did not.
paperwork.
I can't do it. Oh, I'm not setting up on my left leg.
We're not touching your left. We're going to touch your right leg.
And we're not going to let you fall, okay? All right?
I'm not light.
All right. No, you're not. You feel pretty light to me.
I'm not.
Officer Hilo, Officer Foster, and Sergeant Baker then started to physically lift Miss Trapp into the van, and they placed her in a seated position. Miss Trapp said, "At least they'll give me some medical attention. I don't get it out here. It hurts like hell." But believe it or not, she would also not get medical attention where she was going either. At what point do they actually discover that this lady has a broken leg?
Many hours later at the Fayette County Detention Center, after she's been booked in at the jail, and
they took her to the jail.
They did an x-ray on her and
to do the x-ray that the hospital is qualified to do. How insane does this shit have to get before you start standing up and speaking out on it? At minimum.
As soon as they found that, they transferred her to UK, where she immediately had surgery.
After Linda was taken to
immediately had surgery. That means it likely required pins and rods. Being close to the scapula, the kneecap, it would be likely.
jail, they still didn't believe that her leg was broken. It would be another 18 hours before
18 hours.
They finally x-rayed her and observed the fracture. So 18 hours later, from jail, they rush her to a different hospital, the University of Kentucky, where a different set of doctors and a different set of nurses now perform emergency surgery on Linda's broken left leg.
Emergency surgery. That should have been done when it happened by the very doctor who dismissed it.
But
and I don't care about this commercial either. Folks, if you want to help a brother out, please hit that PayPal link. We're trying to get some funds up so we can start up the StreamYard at full panel for our new debate show, the Short Bus Podcast TV. Go check it out. Just look it up on YouTube, the Short Bus Podcast TV. Always appreciated.
Going to be easy. If you've ever had surgery, you know how important and how difficult the recovery time can be, and you know how long the fracture. So 18 hours later, from jail, they rush her to a different hospital, the University of Kentucky, where a different set of doctors and a different set of nurses now perform emergency surgery on Linda's broken left leg. But it wasn't.
Look at all these pins and stuff up here in the top right. They were trying to make her walk on that when it needed that extensive amount of pins and rods. That's extensive knee surgery. And they did this as an emergency. And what I see, and I'm not giving medical advice, and I'm no medical professional, but what I see in a situation like this, 61 years old, such destruction, it might have been better beneficially to replace the knee.
Going to be easy. If you've ever had surgery, you know how important and how difficult the recovery time can be, and you know how long that actually can take. So here's the major problem. Linda,
and how much help you might need in doing so. Now, she needs a lot more than a cane.
Was homeless. She was in a terrible position just physically to recover from her surgery.
And unfortunately, she had complications, had an infection. The hardware had to come back out. She's had, several surgeries as a result.
All to the tune of around $500,000.
Just going over some sick abuse by the corrupt officials and medical society and all this, particularly considering people that obviously have some kind of disabilities and their mental attitude of just washing their balls on their heads, making victims out of the people that are the bosses.
$1 in medical expenses. And the worst part about all of this is Linda Trapp has been confined to a wheelchair since the night that she first met Officer Miles Foster because of.
Yeah. Granted, she can't swing the wheelchair at him like she could the cane, but now she can't go upstairs at all. She must have a ramp. She must have a lift. When are we going to stop this insanity?
What he did to her, she would never be able to walk again, and she hasn't. Thanks to Officer Miles Foster, and thanks to those nurses, and thanks to Dr. Timothy Anderson, all of whom.
Absolutely, all of them. All of them share that responsibility. They're all culpable. They all should be held accountable. But transparency, even as blatant as it is, takes the people to enforce that accountability. That means the people have to hold them accountable to the enforcement of not letting this shit happen to begin with.
Failed her, and really failed us as well, on the night of March 10th of 2022. A lawsuit was filed with the city eventually settling just this January for $1.2 million. I believe that there also was some settlement amount.
I think she deserves a whole hell of a lot more than that.
From the hospital defendants, which is confidential because they're not government entities. Was Foster ever disciplined for this incident?
And I hope those hospital entities as private people were held accountable at the utmost, highest expense that could be. But we know that probably isn't likely. They're probably still practicing.
Was internal discipline in this instance, and the initial discipline based on the records that were provided was a 1-day suspension.
So many of the
Yep, 1-day suspension. Can't imagine denying them the ability to practice anymore for what they've done. We just give them a day off.
problems that I do videos on are things that, like I said, were completely unnecessary. Like that night, he could have just allowed her to continue on walking away as she was doing, and nothing would have happened. You know, I mean, except she would have had a miserable night trying to walk 7 miles in the cold. But it turned out way worse than that. All he had to do was nothing.
If somebody else would have given her a ride, I wonder if they would have given her a ride to that shelter where she was headed rather than the hospital. See, the officer made a choice at that time. He very well could have taken her to the shelter. If that's where she was headed, then why did he not take her there? Was it because he thought for her well-being it would be better for him to take her to the hospital and have the doctors check her out because she fell and didn't break her knee? See, the insanity is so fucking amazing.
Like there was no crime reported. I mean, he could have helped her, but he didn't have to help her, obviously. But he could have just done nothing. In so many of these cases.
Or like I said, instead of giving her a ride to the hospital, giving her a ride to the shelter, which is where she was headed.
Nothing needs to be done. They could have done nothing. You know, they could have done nothing, but he just had to do something. And it's like, it's always about ego. And here, this guy must have had a massive ego. Whatever happened to him?
What's my understanding? From Lee Searcy from the Channel 18 that did the story.
A city spokeswoman says he has since retired on occupational disability unrelated to this incident.
He was subsequently placed on medical leave for an injury he received on the job. Reportedly, the city's paying for his lifetime disability for injuries received on the job.
Wow. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on here and
Yeah, that silence was impugning, wasn't it? Good couple seconds.
Reportedly, the city's paying for his lifetime disability for injuries received on the job.
wow. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on here and
Yeah. Yeah. Damn near 5 seconds of silence. Amazing shit. Folks, learn when to be silent, but learn when to speak up as well. It's all about your education and learning what the truth is in this law stuff, learning what they have authority to do and who the real boss is and how they really treat people, whether you're a boss or not, particularly if they see you with disabilities. It's atrocious. I see it all the time. One day it might possibly affect you directly or through your daughter, sister, mother, grandmother, who knows? It's going to affect everybody. Why you don't stand up against it, I don't know. But in my mind, my heart, my soul, a real man does. He stands up and does everything he can, even if it isn't your sister, daughter, mother, grandmother. So think about this stuff, folks. Remember, I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. And that's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me, because that part is on you. And my dog is waiting for attention. So let me get this up. And be blessed, everybody. Appreciate everything. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Help us get the StreamYard up for the Short Bus Podcast TV.
Hold up, grab my soda, cause I told you I'm colder than hell. I ain't buying what you sell, it don't ring my bell. Unless it's got the smell, you know, like grape paint. We ain't talking vapes or the color of drapes. Or a gorilla in a cape is the good shit. Just one hit, you so lit, you fall into a bit, non-bit. What's fucking funny is you're a monkey, a high school flunky, hero and junkie, obliteration of the carnation with gross castration, skewed citations by your intimations. Get real, young man, there's only one stand. You can't stand a suntan, how you gonna live on the land? Obliteration of the carnation with gross castration in skewed citations by your intimations. I'm a truth in rotation, you're a cheap imitation. Dark said hums, 808s make the ground shake. Cold as the grave, every word's a land quake. You're a flicker in a cipher, I'm the flame that won't fade. Step into the night where the shadows are made. What's fucking funny is you're a monkey, a high school flunky, hero and junkie. I'm gonna click another hit of this good shit, and I'm already it, so take over, it's been non-big.
joining us at Personality Inventory Mockumentary Production. Man up, slaves, and hit those buttons, or I'll send ice.